earthquake and what it means for the tsunamis and who's in danger. So that's coming up a little bit before 4 o'clock. In the 4 o'clock hour, Lauren Risley has the day off, but she's sending her right-hand man, Adam Bundren, from the Lauren Risley Realty Group in. And I was on a walk this morning, noticed that the house that I built and sold 15 years ago was on the market. So I immediately said, what's this listed for?
Of course. And
$100,000 for more than I sold it for
15 years ago?
15 years ago. So is
I think that kind of figures.
That's
Yeah.
When I called my mom, that's what she said too, because I was kind of having
I think
freaked out.
$100,000 more.
I think that's kind of low, actually. With the explosion during the pandemic, houses during the pandemic shot up $100,000 just in a year.
Well, that's why we're going to talk to Adam about it.
And figure it out.
Not the two of you.
Oh.
Well, include your mom then,
Yes,
too.
Yeah.
my mom too.
Okay.
Yes.
Bring her in.
At 4:50, we have a very special guest, Louis Wolf, who is a sixth grader, and he already has his own podcast. So we'll find out what he is talking about on his podcast. And full disclosure, every once in a while here, we will donate the opportunity to sit in with us as like an auction item. So Louis won. And unbeknownst to us, this is something that he already does on a podcast. So he gets to use the experience to kind of, promote what he's doing.
All right. 11 years old, is that right? Sixth grade?
Sixth grade?
Yeah.
We'll ask him.
They had a big show last week. It was Lucky Charms versus Fruity Pebbles. Go. Probably went 45 minutes.
What are you talking about
That's
right now?
That's what I would be talking about at 11.
You kind of talk about it at 44.
That is true.
I would be.
That is true.
What a shock. Baseball.
Yeah.
And then more specifically, baseball cards and comic books. That would have been me.
Yeah.
At 11 or 12, it would have been a deep dive into As the World Turns.
That's funny.
It would have been good. As a matter of fact, I just saw on CBS Sunday Morning this past weekend that Eileen Fulton has died. And as soon as she popped up, I'm like, that's Lisa from As the World Turns. She was like 92, 93 years old. So that definitely would have been mine.
Homework, yay or nay? Whole show.
Whole show on it. Yeah.
And he could get experts on to talk about because these days, don't they say that homework is it's not as important as it used to be?
I always had that. I was forward thinking.
Yeah.
There are different studies, and I think it depends on where you are and what the social economic status is, because I think the argument a lot of times is there's no one at home to help. So it's kind of a uneven playing field depending on where you are. But I'm no expert on that. It's just a couple of things that I've read.
And I always wondered, why didn't we do this in school?
Yeah, what's the
Let's just get
point?
it done in school.
I feel like it's certain teachers that just want to,
It's the busy work.
Yeah.
Here's
Thank you.
a couple of worksheets.
And who knows, maybe it's something to keep kids out of trouble a little bit. Here's something to do. You're not, on the streets and causing problems because you have some homework. Anyway.
But like with math, I think repetition is how you memorize stuff like that.
Oh, that's why I messed up.
Is math about
I think it's a pure rote memorization.
I think the mathmaticians would disagree.
At least
I think
the multiplication tables are.
Well, I think it's more the problem solving when you get into the real math, not the math that you and I do.
I never got into real math.
Yeah.
And luckily, I didn't have to do that in college.
So anyway, we'll talk to Louis Wolf at about 4:50. And then in the 5 o'clock, we're going to talk to one of the authors of Carson the Magnificent. It's Johnny Carson's biography. And especially as we look at where late night talk shows have gone, it'll be an interesting conversation just about the king of late night. I mean, everybody, it seemed, was tuned in to Johnny Carson. I remember when he signed off, I was a senior in high school or maybe had just graduated, 1992, Bette Midler singing him off. And, it was kind of a sad day because you're like, what are you going to do at night? Nobody is going to do this quite like Johnny, and nobody really has. So we'll talk to the author of his biography coming up about 5:10. We got some other entertainment news, and then we will wrap this show up with some randoms. Did you see this? Because I heard this on the radio on my way in, and I thought, well, that's interesting. The most popular pet name for couples. So, what do you...
Schmoopy.
Is that really it?
No. Seinfeld, sorry. No, you're Schmoopy. No, you're Schmoopy.
And what does that stand for?
Oh,
It's just their little pet name.
Something stupid.
And-
Little pet name. Yeah.
Isn't that what the whole show was?
Oh, no. Brilliant comedy. How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
I was just talking to Bob before you came in. He said, why don't we get somebody on to talk about how Seinfeld is still relevant 25 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And not because of guys like me and Josh, but Connor
Yeah.
is another generation younger, knows it all.
Connor was born in 97.
Yeah.
Seinfeld ended in 99.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He knows the episodes more than we do.
And I think you'd compare it to I Love Lucy, who had reruns for so long, like Seinfeld does. Another one would be, and you can still see him all the time, Andy Griffith's show.
Yeah.
Reruns. So where does it all fit and why?
I think that
it'd
would
be
be a
interesting.
really interesting conversation. And let's not forget, without St. Louis, we might not be talking about Seinfeld at all. It did not do well across the country. It did well in St. Louis. And
You're welcome, Jerry.
That
Yeah.
kind of propelled them to.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's a story that's been told for a while. So it's an interesting one.
I think the first season of Seinfeld was like 8 or 9 episodes long.
Well, they combined that kind of summer pilot thing.
I think it was a summer.
And then they did a couple more episodes. They kind of call that
Yeah.
season 1, and then it had a regular schedule. But it really didn't hit the ground the 3rd or 4th season.
And I wonder if there was a nod to St. Louis because of what Heidi said. In subsequent episodes, Elaine has a sister that lives in St. Louis. And one of the establishing shots, she's stuck at an airport here, and they show Lambert.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact kind of story, but I know that St. Louis played a really big role in Seinfeld getting picked up as far as that goes, because it wasn't as popular in the beginning.
That's interesting.
And at the time, I know, KSDK was one of the top NBC affiliates in the country. And even though it was market 16, 17 at the time, more people were watching TV here.
It dominated here.
Than, around the country.
Did must-see TV and network programming boost local news, or did local news boost NBC programming?
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of study. And I think then you have to look at how things play across the country. And if it is...
To make the comparisons.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
All right, I
love
want
that stuff.
I want to get to Heidi's story because it is about pet names, and I don't think I've said my wife's name out loud to her in 15
I don't think you can
years.
say that on the air.
What? Oh, what I
What
call
you
her?
call her?
Not
I
to
don't
her
think
face.
I know what you call her.
I call her the number one.
You call her Babe.
I call her Babe. The episode where Elaine is here in St. Louis, Elaine and Jerry are traveling together.
Yeah.
They argue over tipping the sky cap. My question, flying home from Las Vegas, I'm waiting to get into the bathroom at the back of the plane. There's a couple of flight attendants there. My mind starts going. Has anyone ever tipped a flight attendant?
I don't think they can take money.
They can't. They flat out can't take money.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on the Woods Basement Systems text line, 84126. I don't think they can even take a tip after a drink.
When you buy alcohol.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you-
I've never heard of it. That must be the
I'm
case.
almost positive, but correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's changed through the years.
of all the people that were expected to tip nowadays,
You would think that a flight attendant deserves it more than anybody.
you know, they
but
take care of us. They're always picking up the trash. They're bringing us
Yeah.
drinks.
I'm going to find out.
Who are you
Okay.
texting? Do you have a tip?
I have a person at American Airlines.
A tip
that's
Svengali?
funny. I've got a person at American Airlines as well.
And she started out as a flight attendant on Ozark.
Oh, really?
And now is a
goodness.
big-time executive in Dallas.
Wow. All right. Yeah, you find out while we discuss pet names. Mostly, I'm saying Babe too if I am, just yelling out, a lot of people say honey or baby, sweetheart. I feel like that's maybe for older couples. It used to be more popular.
I call Finn sweetie
Okay.
quite a bit.
What about
Sweetie pie.
love? A lot of people say that sounds more British.
Right here, love.
Yeah,
Yes.
what about lover? Hello, lover.
Or Lovey, wasn't that on Gilligan's
Gilligan's Island.
Island? Hello,
yeah.
Lovey. Yeah.
Was it the millionaire?
Uh-huh.
What was his name? I forget.
Oh, Jim Backus was the
Mr. Plum.
actor. I can't think of it now.
It'll come to us, right?
Yeah.
Mid-sentence, we're in the middle of something else. 2% said they regularly use the terms dear, boo, bae, darling. What about pumpkin or sugar? Or I feel like I have more pet names for everybody else than I do really for Marsha. I think it's very interesting when parents become grandparents that then everybody starts calling them whatever it is they're going by, whether it's Gigi and Pawpaw, or I find myself talking to my niece and nephew, oh, did you hear what Gigi did? Instead of me saying, did you hear what Mom did?
Yes.
I immediately refer to my mom as Gigi. And even now, when I call her, I kind of say, what up, G? I don't say,
Nice.
what up, Mom?
And it makes you sound hip.
Very
G.
hip,
Yo,
and
G.
it makes her sound very hip. But do you guys
Thurston
do
Hell the
that?
Third.
Oh, yes. Did you look it up or it just came to you?
No, Jen texted it.
Oh, I see it all on the text line,
I
too.
looked
Mr.
it up.
Howell, Mr. Howell.
How did we forget that?
I know.
I call my mom, she goes by Mama
Yeah.
for the grandkids. I don't know where that came from. But I call her that in front of Finn, but I still call her Mom when he's not around.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm more likely to call my dad. But again, if I'm talking to the kids, it's usually, did you hear what Pawpaw did?
Because that's what they call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things.
Jen says I use sweetheart, but I think it's just not a specific, it's multiple. Like most of the ones you've used
Yeah.
at one time or another, just whatever. It's not a specific like nickname.
So you're not using sweetheart if you want something. Like that's not your go-to if you're like, sweetheart, will you bring me a cup of coffee?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're sweet talking her.
No. Fix me a sandwich.
I think
Woman.
And then I get hit in the head. I wake up an hour later.
Yeah.
I'm concussed.
Did I say it again?
Sorry.
it's such a subconscious thing.
It really is. It's so interesting. But I'd love to have, if you have an interesting one, I'd love to hear what it is and then how it came to be. There's so many. Like, I'm thinking that we, used to call my niece, Clary Berry, because it was Claire, and she hated it. At one point, she finally said, "No more bear. I'm done." And we're like, "Oh,
Wow.
everybody, step off. Not going to call her Bear anymore."
My goodness.
Yeah.
Somebody said my dad called my mom Precious. That really got under her skin. Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Did your dad pass away after eating, what was the one that's on trial? The smoothie? The poison smoothie?
Yeah, poison smoothie.
Oh,
Wait a
yeah.
minute. Jen's been volunteering to make smoothies a lot lately.
Really?
You better get some, what are those things that you put in the water to test the pH levels?
Oh, yeah.
You need to get some test strips.
That's test strips. That's right.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Our friend Susan said our grandkids call us Gammy and Pops.
Gammy.
And our kids now call us that too. Yeah. Somebody said Sugarfoot. I'd love to know how Sugarfoot came to be.
Sugarfoot. That's interesting.
Somebody said I wanted to be Gigi. My mom called me by my name, so my granddaughter calls me Grandma Angie, and I hate it. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, my mother was Gima, and Jen's mother is Nana, and the two grandpas were Papa Ken and Papa Kirk.
Okay. I feel like you were at the edge of the turning when it was just, Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did.
That's what we did too. Yeah.
Both sides, Grandma and Grandpa. We had no pet names for them.
Actually, everybody called my grandmother, my mom's mother, grandma except me. She watched me from when I was little.
You're
all
really
the way up.
close to her.
But one day they said, I don't remember this, when I was, I don't know, 3 or something, I started calling her Dodo.
Dodo. And it stuck?
Forever.
I love it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
We're going to start having, we had a linguist on last week.
Mm-hmm. She was
and
fantastic.
She was so good. I called her up and I said, Dr. Johar, he's on with us today. How about every other Wednesday when Dr. Johar is not with us, you come on the show and we'll do linguist stuff. And she said, absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Our first one's going to be next week. We're going to talk specifically about the St. Louis accent and how that all started.
Will I be able to drive Highway Farty to get to the show?
No, you should probably take Farty Far.
Okay, thank you.
But I wonder if I knew a guy from Tennessee and he called his grandma Meemaw.
Meemaw, yeah.
I wonder if there's a regional slant.
I think there is
To what we
on
call our
that because
grandparents.
there were a few in New Madrid that called them Meemaw.
Meemaws,
Yeah.
which is right next to Tennessee, right?
My son calls his wife Sweet Pea, Grams and Gramps. I used to call my granddaughter Shuggy. When she was old enough, she started calling me that. My grandchildren in Indiana call us Grandpa and Grandma St. Louis, which is kind of my St.
Grandma,
Louis.
Grandma,
Yeah.
St. Louis, that's good.
It's more directional
And
than...
I just realized when she was a child, not a baby, but a child, my daughter Lucy was Lucy Goosey, and frequently we all call her Goose.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you still call her?
Sometimes.
And does she like it? Does she answer? I guess I should ask.
She answers. I think
Okay.
she's okay with it.
Yeah.
I
Have you
think.
guys ever been called something that you hated?
I get called Ho a lot.
What does that mean?
Heidi Ho.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Have
Yeah.
you guys never thought of that? Like Heidi Ho, neighbor.
yeah, Heidi Ho.
There's
Yeah,
a
of course.
couple
That's-
of people just say,
yeah,
hey
it's
ho.
pretty,
Yeah.
Both Bob and I started to reel, and then when you looped it back
That's
around.
a rough group of friends.
We know where your minds go immediately. And I will say, you guys now know what's coming up on the show, and hopefully you'll be a part of it, as wacky as it is, here on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Cardinal Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen and Eddie Scholler from the world-famous Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Hey, buddy, have you came over and looked at the new Eddie at Fast Eddie's? I finally got a new item. You know, it's been decades.
Decade. More like 40 years to figure out how to put a piece of shrimp on there with your steak.
I've known you for 40 years. You could have said something. Well, who'd have thought the Elwood could even get better? But we did it. We went and we made the Eddie. It's a foot-long serving turn.
Not that I needed another reason to bring the whole gang down there. I'm still going to order those big Elwoods, the succulent peel and eat shrimp, the hot chick on a stick, and that famous Fast Eddie burger. And I'm always going to get one of those ice-cold frosty ones and listen to that live music on that patio every afternoon and evening.
Well, I just love adding another great item for everybody to come over and enjoy. When you come on over the beautiful Clark Bridge to look at the picturesque Mississippi River.
Picturesque. That's very eloquent.
Thank you very much.
Well, like Mr. Shannon says, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to picturesque Alton, Illinois, and see the very eloquent Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Seems like everyone has some sort of hail damage to their car. And if that's you, Dents Express is the next phone call. You see, Dents Express has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision repair. They have 2 locations. At Dents Express, they will work with your insurance company and handle all the paperwork and get your car back to you looking as good as new. Dents Express, STL.com. 2 locations, 1 great family, Dents Express, STL.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Hey, this is Heidi. Join us this Thursday when we're live from the Fairmont on Clayton. Fairmont on Clayton is a Montessori assisted living and memory care community dedicated to seniors with Alzheimer's disease. They identify activities that provide their residents a sense of purpose. The Montessori approach focuses on life skills the resident can do instead of what they can't, like setting and clearing tables and folding linens. Join us this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Fairmont on Clayton.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
3:31, time to get a check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, it looks like they've cleared a crash on eastbound 270 at Lilac, but there is a residual slowdown back to 367. And eastbound 64 is congested from east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, take advantage of Renewal by Anderson's largest new customer discount. 25% off your entire window or door project and great financing options. Call 314-350-6550 or online at rbastl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Relief from the heat. It's coming. If your air conditioner wasn't working right or not at all, how did you survive? I know a lot of you folks called AAA Home Services during this really intense heat wave. And what you found out, and what those people found out if you didn't do it, was that AAA has been around for over 55 years. They're family-owned, family-run, a reputation built on honesty, and they could cover the area because they had 25 expert technicians to get out there and make sure not only could you survive the heat, you could thrive and have your home be the comfortable place it was meant to be. Now, if you're still wondering about your air conditioning system, if it's still not quite running efficiently and you know that electric bill is going to climb, well, call AAA Home Services. You know they're the American standard heating and air conditioning dealer. They can fix what you have, or they can set you up with the #1 rated air conditioning company in America. So give them a call for all your home services, 636-397-3200, or visit AAASTL.com to book an appointment. Call AAA. We're on our way.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
One more day of stout heat and humidity, and then this heat wave is over. It is about time. We're going to warm up quickly through the midday and afternoon. 95, my forecast high. Heat index between 100 and 105. And then some rapid-fire changes. Here comes a cold front mid to late afternoon into tonight. Let's be ready for scattered storms, and some of them could be heavy, maybe even some strong winds in spots. But, boy, it results in much cooler weather tomorrow. Now, Thursday's still a little muggy, considerable cloudiness, some rain still around, but the rain chances drop through the day on Thursday, so that Friday into the weekend, oh my goodness, just beautiful. Mostly sunny, the humidity much lower, and highs much easier to take, close to 80. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime, made headlines this week with his bladder cancer diagnosis. It's a cancer we hadn't heard too much about, so we thought we'd ask Dr. Ravi Johar, Chief Medical Officer with United Healthcare of Missouri and Illinois. Welcome back.
How are you guys? It's good to be with you.
We are okay and surviving this heat, which is what a lot of people have struggled with.
It's not a good time at all, is it?
No, but
it's supposed to drop down to the 80s by this weekend, though.
it's going to feel like a cool breeze at 80 degrees. We might need a sweatshirt at that point.
I'm thinking I'm going to have to break out the sweater and get ready for football season.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about bladder cancer. Is it relatively rare?
Actually, it's surprisingly common. There's about 500,000 people a year that are diagnosed with bladder cancer, and actually about 200,000 die of the disease.
Wow.
Oh, my.
So it's far more common than people think.
And is
I
it
think those national or worldwide numbers, but a significant number in the United States.
is it more common among men than women, or is it equal opportunity?
No, this is one that seems to be more common in men, and age seems to be the biggest thing. You rarely see it before age 60, and the average age once diagnosed is age 73.
Wow. And how is it diagnosed? Is there anything like equal to a colonoscopy?
Well, you don't do a screening test for it, like colonoscopy, but the most common thing is something that's easily determined by folks is they see blood in their urine. Oh. Anytime you see blood in the urine, that's usually a pretty good sign you should go get this checked out.
Okay. What are some other signs?
Well, one of the biggest things that people really need to be aware of is the most common factor on folks with bladder cancer is smoking. So for the majority of people, if you have never smoked, your risk of bladder cancer is extremely low. But if you're a smoker, you're at higher risk for it. So if you start to have pain, usually the blood in the urine is actually painless blood. So you don't know, you just look down, all of a sudden and it's red. That's a bad sign.
Dr. Johar, where would the pain even be? Just stomach pain?
If you do have pain, you'll have pain when you go to the bathroom, or it'll be in the pelvis, mainly in that area, right around the bladder, pelvis, urethra.
I also read that there are several types of bladder cancer. Can you elaborate?
Well, I think it's more the staging. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by types specifically.
Well, maybe it was like certain cells, or maybe it was talking about the lining. Is the bladder cancer always about the lining itself?
It starts in the lining of the bladder. They're called transitional cells that kind of expand, and that's what stretches out when your bladder fills up. But the biggest thing that happens is it starts in there, and then if it's restricted to the inside of the bladder, you can just go in what they call a cystoscope, which is a little telescope to look inside the bladder. And the doctors can do that and just take off those tumors very easily, and you may not need any further treatment at all for that. But if it starts to where it's getting into the wall of the bladder, or certainly if it goes all the way into the fat around the bladder, or then gets beyond the bladder into other organs, that's when it gets progressively more dangerous and much more serious. If it's just restricted to the inside of the bladder and it's very easy, the survival rate is 97%, up to 97%. Okay. So it's really good. But if it gets to the point where it's actually gone beyond the bladder into other organs around it or into other body parts, then that drops all the way down to about 5% survival.
So Coach Sanders had his bladder removed, and I never had really given that much thought. And then, is it true they could rebuild a bladder? Tell me about that stuff, because that's just stuff you don't hear about very often.
Right. There's a couple ways to treat it. I mean, he had to have what's called a radical cystectomy, which is removal of the entire bladder, which makes us think that he had a little bit more advanced stage or grade cancer. Then they can take actually a part of the small bowel called the ileum, and they can make a little reservoir that they can utilize, because what the bladder's function really is to collect the urine that's made by the kidneys, store it, and then get rid of it when you go to the bathroom. So in this case, they can make a different storage pouch out of the small bowel called the ileum. And then they have two ways they can do that. One, the normal one is they will just hook that up to what's called an ileostomy, where you just drain a bag like you do for a colostomy. It's the same sort of thing, but it's just urine alone. In some cases, and it sounds like, at least what I've read about
Deion Sanders,
is that they actually hooked it back up to the urethra so that he can try to urinate normally. But even with that, you can't control it because there's no valves in that to be able to stop it.
How big is our bladder?
I'm trying to just figure out what the best way to describe it. It's about the size of your hand, maybe.
Okay.
Your fist.
Got it.
And you smoking cancer. We all think of throat cancer, cancers of the mouth. But how does smoking affect bladder cancer, and what other cancers does smoking, play a role in?
Sure. We don't know exactly why smoking causes cancer anywhere, but we know that there's a strong correlation with the bladder. The cells seem to be much more sensitive to the smoke. Maybe it's the smoke gets in your system, gets in the urine, and then as that urine sits in the bladder where it's just sitting for a while, that would be, to me, be the most likely reason that would accumulate in there.
Very interesting.
In the lungs. But we know that lifestyle, people think about cancers, they don't think about, what can cause it in a lot of cases. We know that there's at least 12 different cancers now that are totally related to lifestyle. Obesity is probably the biggest one that is a risk for cancers, different kinds of cancers. But bladder cancer is lifestyle, lung cancer is lifestyle, prostate cancer in some cases. There's a lot of different ones. We can talk about that sometime. It's shocking what can happen with that.
Well, switching gears, we wanted to lighten it up a little bit. New York Magazine had a story that came out that said everyone has hemorrhoids now. And then once they put it out, now I've seen it everywhere.
How is that lightening things up?
I was going to say, and is this new? I mean, I feel like hemorrhoids have been something that have aggravated people for years.
I think the first one that was reported was around 700 AD or something.
Wow.
The first time that hemorrhoids were mentioned in the literature somewhere. But no, they've been around a lot. But it does seem that they're being diagnosed more now. There's more discussion of it. Part of it, I think, could be the fact that the age for colon cancer screening has gone down to 45. So people are being checked more than they were before. So maybe people are noticing the hemorrhoids more than that.
And maybe we're just not ashamed to talk about it anymore.
I think so. That's probably a big part of it. I think, when people, don't make anything be stigma anymore, which is good. I mean, these are just they're things that happen, and they shouldn't be stigmatized for anything that happens. So that's I think, good from that sense. The other thing that they say, there has been an increase when you talk to the gastroenterologist. They say they have seen a lot more folks with hemorrhoids recently, and part of that could be some of the things that we think causes hemorrhoids. We know that eating a lot more, anything that strains more, where you have to really strain to have a bowel movement, that can increase your risk. We know that pregnancy certainly increases your hemorrhoids dramatically. Almost every pregnant woman has hemorrhoids to some degree, and you almost always resolve after the pregnancy is over. But those are things that happen. The other thing that's happening is people are spending way more time on the toilets now. A lot of that is with phones. People are just sitting there on their phone when they're in the bathroom.
Camping out. What about just sitting in general? If people are on the couch more, can that lead to hemorrhoids?
It can. Anything that puts more pressure on there all the time. So the more sedentary that you are, the greater your risk of getting hemorrhoids also.
And then this also says we're not eating enough fiber and we're dehydrated. We're not drinking enough water.
All of those things go along with, those are what helps make your stool softer and easier to eliminate. And anytime that you have to strain to have bowel movement, you increase your risk of hemorrhoids. I mean, hemorrhoids are just, they're varicose veins of the rectum and anus.
We've talked about this before with you on the show, but I tell my wife all the time, she doesn't drink a lot of water. I said, you need to drink more water. Would we all just be better off if we drank a lot more water?
I think for the most part, yes. I mean, there is certainly the possibility of going overboard and drinking way too much. We've talked about that before, but that you have to make a real conscious effort to do something like that. But everybody, I think, would benefit from drinking a lot more water. And, it's been shown that water alone is probably the best thing you can do. Ones with all the different, different electrolytes in it and all kinds of sodas and coffees and things of that sort are nowhere near as beneficial as just drinking straight water.
Yeah. What about iced tea, though? If you just have iced tea, I mean, obviously it has some caffeine in it, but is that your second best option?
I think so. It's certainly better than a lot of the other options that are out there.
And then I've always wanted to ask a doctor this. You go in, we're talking about hemorrhoids. People that specialize in proctology, Dr. Johar, I mean, you spend all that money, all that time in med school, and you know what I want to work with every day? Is there something about the proctologists out there?
Well, I had that discussion with a very good enterologist friend of mine, and he gave me all kinds of grief. I asked him how we like to explain that to his daughter, and he came back with how do you like to explain to your daughter what you do?
Yeah.
So,
I guess to each their own as far as that goes. And we need all of you.
Yes,
so
we do.
are not going to
Yes.
judge at all. Dr. Ravi Johar, always great to chat with you, even when the topic is slightly uncomfortable.
you guys take care.
Have a good one.
Bye now.
So you don't have to suffer in silence, right?
No, you
Remember
do
that?
not.
Remember that jingle?
Yeah, it was a good one. It kind of lingered with you. It was an earworm almost, wasn't it? I'll tell you this, we're not going to also poke fun at any of the doctors at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It doesn't matter what the issue is. You're going to wrap your arms around those doctors and nurses, because if your child is sick, there is nothing you won't do to get them feeling better. Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital is just a treasure here in St. Louis. I mean, people come from all over to get treatment at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. But what's really incredible to me, because sometimes you see ads about other hospitals and they talk about, how they treat their patients. No patient is turned away from Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. And that's the way it's been from the beginning. They knew that this was the kind of hospital that they were building. They knew that just by patient care alone, they weren't going to be able to, keep the lights on. They were going to have to do something else. And so they created Cardinal Glennon Children's Foundation. And it is a foundation that makes such a huge impact, not just on those families who entrust the care of their children to Cardinal Glennon, but we're talking about incredible hospital programs and services. Some of those truly pieces of equipment that are state of the art, and they even help the hospital in launching new programs you won't find anywhere else. So if you truly want to make a difference in a child's life or a family's life, check out Glennon.org. It's also where you can see all kinds of incredible stories about maybe a doctor or nurse doing something just extraordinary, or the success story of one of the many patients. Again, it's Glennon.org. Hey, Heidi Glaus here, asking you to join us weekly as we present the KTRS Book Club, presented by the St. Louis County Library for readers of every generation. Books transport us anywhere our imagination wants to go. They are absolutely magical. The KTRS Book Club will introduce you to local and national authors, events, and special programs presented by the St. Louis County Library every week from 3 to 6 right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20 actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90 days 10 to 15 pounds down. It simply works, and that's why I recommend it to all of my patients. You simply go online, book an appointment, you fill out a health questionnaire form, you get an appointment on our schedule. It's all telemedicine based. It's all done from your home, and then you meet with me or one of my nurse practitioners, and then after the 10, 15-minute consult, the medication is delivered right to your door discreetly, and you get started right now on your weight loss journey.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
Hi, Matt Kearns, president of St. Lou Fringe. Grab a festival pass and meet me August 11th through 17th at STL Fringe Fest 25 to experience original music like What They Taught Me, a musical cabaret by tribute vocal artist Brother John, all the way from KC, and Voyage, a live visual album by Sarah Saturday, all the way from Nashville.
Club Car Wash is the best car wash in town. How do I know? I have an unlimited monthly pass to Country Club Car Wash, and it's fantastic. They're touchless, and you get free vacuums at select locations. Each and every day on the morning show, we will be giving away one free Country Club Car Wash to the text of the day. And each week, we'll be giving away a grand prize, 1 month of free Country Club Car Washes to the text of the week. We'll see you on the show, and we'll see you at Country Club Car Wash, cccwstl.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group, and as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
It's about 9 minutes before 4 o'clock. Captain Paul, how are the roads?
Well, emergency vehicles are blocking the right lane of eastbound 70 at 79. Southbound 270 is crowded around Olive, and eastbound 64 is congested from Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Inland Marine. Located in Barnhart, Missouri, Inland Marine is your authorized Mercury Marine dealer. Whether you're looking for a new pontoon or fishing boat, make sure to check out Inland Marine. Find out more at inlandmarineboats.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, it was a wild night for folks along the coast with tsunami warnings. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent in L.A., joins us with the latest. So the warnings have now been deactivated?
Yeah, and well, most of them that have now come down. There's some advisories that remain in California, mainly because of squirrely ocean waters and currents that could come for a while because of this. But even LA County beaches, they're open again, and people are more than welcome. All the bathrooms are open, everything there that they're saying, hey, come on in. But it was a really tense 8 or 9 hours over half of the world along the Pacific Rim of Japan and Russia, and then into the U.S. of Hawaii, Alaska, Oregon, Washington, California, as everybody feared that large, big wave coming in. And Russia and Japan did have a bit of an impact, but in the U.S., it's really being described as dodging a bullet, very little impact. Overnight, Hawaii's governor saying, hey, you got to take it seriously.
We have a tsunami warning. And what does that mean? That is the most serious warning that you can have. It is not a watch. It is a warning, which means we have to evacuate the coastal zones right away.
And it was a mad dash to evacuate the beach areas all around the Hawaiian Islands for fear of a major tsunami coming in, like Fukushima in 2011 or Southeast Asia in 2004, that it was feared that that's what it was going to be. It was bumper-to-bumper traffic for hours, people trying to get out to higher ground. The military and even Oprah opened up roads on their property to let people get access quicker to the mountains and higher ground. But in the end, there wasn't a major wave. There were sensors that did pick up tsunami waves, but they were quite small waves, a couple of feet at most. And the water did recede at one point, but it wasn't a huge wave. There were also the concerns in California, Oregon, and Washington. In far northern California, Crescent City, near the Oregon border, they have a history of tsunamis because of their geography. They get hit quite often. They had a little bit of damage from the water rising. The harbor master there saying,
as the water levels continued to rise, the structure was unable to adjust, and the decking became lodged on the pilings and was eventually submerged, and this resulted in major structural failure and complete separation of the dock.
So that was kind of the worst of it, that dock being destroyed. But in the end, based on an 8.8 magnitude earthquake and the fears that this was going to be a major wall of water hitting hugely populated areas of L.A. and San Francisco and Seattle and all the way around Honolulu, that it could have been a lot worse. No major damage, no injuries. Those warnings are coming down, and life is kind of getting back to normal.
Well, Alex, I know people that live out in Los Angeles, and they say they live in Hollywood, and they never even see the coast because it takes an hour, with traffic just to get to the beach. So they're very rarely there. Who was actually affected? And as far as L.A. people go, was it a big deal or was it mostly just...
No, in L.A., it was a headline where everybody was going wall-to-wall on the news about it. But if you didn't live right on the beach, it really didn't impact you at all. Those who were on the beach, most of them are not really beach because it wasn't expected to be that large in much of California. It would have been more of kind of a swell coming up versus Hawaii, where that was more like the wall of water of Fukushima coming in, and all the resorts are right there along the water, and you could have had tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people killed if that were to go on. So they had to be careful about it and be on the more conservative side and say, look, everybody get out of here because we don't know what's going to go on based on it being such a large earthquake. But luckily, in the end, it wasn't bad.
Alex, you mentioned folks in Hawaii the roads got jammed, trying to get away from the low-lying areas. I don't know if you remember last fall, near San Francisco, they had a tsunami warning. I was in San Francisco that day, and everybody's phones were going off. It was from being, a flatlander from the Midwest. It was creepy. We all looked at each other and go, what the heck? And it was clear. The warning was get away from the wharfs and the water. It was a warning. Turned out not to be dangerous. Are people on the West Coast paying attention? Do you get a sense that these warnings are working for folks on the U.S. West Coast?
I think that these do because they're so infrequent and it's scary and kind of exotic and foreign to people because we haven't had – there are the warnings, but there hasn't been a major tsunami, at least in the current lifetime, in the U.S.
Yeah.
But people have seen those videos of the wall of water. It's in movies and everything else, but where Southeast Asia, I covered that one in 2004, and I think that was, 250,000, 300,000 people who were killed.
Horrible.
And then Fukushima, the same thing. So it's so scary, that fear of drowning and all that. The people, they took it seriously. And there's so many, especially Hawaii, so many visitors who this is so foreign to them, who don't come from a place where they would be hit by a tsunami, that they wanted to get out of there.
With all the seismic activity in California, I don't know how tsunamis work. If it's on land, does it push the water away from the coast?
It depends. There's all kinds of science of what kind of quake it is, how the plates slip when they make because initially they didn't think yesterday was going to be that big of a deal. But then when they study how the plates are slipping, they decide where the water is going to go. So it can push it out, kind of like this did. It was right off the coast of Russia, and it went out toward everybody else. Or it can be deeper and not create a problem. They've got to look at the depth of it, where it is, what the sliding of the plates was like, and all of that comes into play when they decide, is this going to be a tsunami maker?
Earlier I was telling Josh and Heidi, I'm a little paranoid. I've had nightmares about tsunamis and that sort of thing. And so when you see them, and thank goodness there's a good warning system now, because when that water recedes, I am hightailing it out of there. Right? That's the key.
Yeah, remember in Southeast Asia, in that one where people didn't know, and the water receded, and there were fish flopping all over the ground.
Yeah.
They were way out, and they were like, "Oh, cool!" And they went out there and were playing in it, and then the wall of water came in.
Oh my goodness!
It's so scary. Well, Alex, I'm glad that you are safe. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the Control Option Mindset featuring the Lifetime and Generational Income Maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
This is the
Big 550.
KTRS St. Louis.
From O'Fallon, Illinois to Granite City, Glen Carbon to Waterloo,
and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Colorado, a jury found dentist James Craig guilty of murdering his wife by spiking her protein drinks with a lethal dose of cyanide in 2023. ABC's Alex Stone says Craig was convicted on other charges, including tampering with evidence.
He is accused of not only asking his family to plant evidence and to come up with some other story to try to explain all of this, but on top of that, trying to get a detective killed, hiring another inmate to kill a detective that was working on this case.
Craig is expected to be sentenced later today. In New York City, investigators still looking into the background of the gunman who killed 4 people in a Midtown office building Monday, including an NYPD officer. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more on the weapon used.
27-year-old Shane Tamura carried a high-powered rifle into the building and immediately opened fire. The shooter had a concealed carry permit issued to him in 2022 in Las Vegas, where he worked security at a casino. Police said a co-worker purchased the lower receiver of the rifle used in the attack.
Police are investigating if Tamura was targeting the NFL. Despite calls by President Trump to cut rates, the Federal Reserve Board today voting to keep interest rates unchanged for now. ABC's Alexis Christoforous says uncertainty over tariffs remains a concern.
The Fed continuing to take its wait-and-see attitude, not feeling that there's any big rush here to go out and cut interest rates. Remember, the Fed would cut interest rates in a scenario where it wants to stimulate the economy. It wants to convince businesses and consumers to go out and spend big. It seems as though the economy is chugging along just nicely without a rate cut.
2 Fed board members appointed by President Trump voted for a rate cut, marking the first dissent on the board since 1993. Tsunami alerts have expired along the U.S. West Coast, Alaska, and Hawaii. No significant damage was reported from the tsunami triggered by that major earthquake off Russia's coast. You're listening to ABC News.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has been indicted by a grand jury for allegedly using public funds on a flyer about Proposition B earlier this year. Page was indicted on 2 election misdemeanors and 2 felony counts of stealing by deceit. The indictment alleges Page illegally used more than $750 of public funds to produce flyers and more than $25,000 in postage to mail postcards to residents. This all involves Proposition B, which asks voters if the county council should have the power to remove county department heads. Voters shot down the proposition, with more than 60% of votes cast against the measure. A court date for Page has been set for August 29th. The Director of Safety and Security for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned just weeks before the start of school. The story from KTRS's Jill Enders.
Terrell Baker announced his resignation yesterday after 8 months on the job. He's leaving to accept a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. Baker is the second to resign from this position within a year. Colonel DeAndre Davis resigned from the position just last October. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The St. Louis County Council has approved an agreement to collaborate with 3 other counties to establish a regional police training center. St. Charles and Franklin counties have already approved the measure, while Jefferson County is expected to vote on the agreement in a meeting on August 11th. A popular mega dog park that also had a doggy daycare, groomer, restaurant, and bar is closing all its locations, including in St. Louis. The owners of Bar K announced yesterday it was shutting down effective immediately amid financial challenges and is unable to provide refunds to members. This comes after only 2 years in business. The other Bar K locations are in Kansas City and Oklahoma City. 2 national retailers will soon occupy the space of the former movie theater at Plaza Frontenac. The St. Louis Business Journal reports that Talbot's, which already has a location at the mall, and Abercrombie & Fitch will occupy the space. The stores are scheduled to open this fall with $1.2 million in renovations. The 5th annual St. Charles Jewish Festival will return next month. Organizers say a record-setting crowd of over 4,000 are expected to attend. The Jewish Festival will be held on Sunday, August 10th, from 11 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon at the Lewis and Clark Boathouse parking lot. The Missouri Council on Aging has announced support for a statewide master plan and is urging the public to weigh in this week. More from KTRS's Steve Potter.
According to the council, Missouri's older adult population is expected to grow nearly 20% by 2030, and they've announced its support of the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services efforts to finalize a statewide master plan on aging. The plan is to be used as a roadmap for meeting the needs of seniors while also preventing a future fiscal crisis as the demand for health care, housing, and caregiving increase. There will be a series of in-person town hall meetings and 2 virtual sessions where the public can review the draft plan and provide feedback. The first town hall will be tomorrow in St. Louis beginning at 9 a.m. at the South County Senior Center, followed by meetings across the state through August. According to the council, public input is critical to ensure that Missouri is a place where everyone can age well. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Wall Street at the close today. Dow Jones down 171 points to 44,461. S&P 500 down 8 points to 6,362. And the NASDAQ up 31 points to 21,129. Now let's get a check of sports and traffic from Captain Paul Kopsky.
Sobe, the Cardinals and the Marlins play the rubber game of their 3-game series tonight at Busch with Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Birds. Last night, the Cardinals were blanked by the Marlins 5-0, managing just 4 hits. And former Battlehawks running back Jacob Sailors has signed a contract with the Detroit Lions. Sailors led the UFL in rushing with 55 yards per game last season. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. Westbound 64 is busy in front of Forest Park and from Prospect to the 6470 interchange. Southbound 270 is crowded around Olive, and eastbound 64 is congested from east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, take advantage of Renewal by Anderson's largest new customer discount. 25% off your entire window or door project and great financing options. Call 314-350-6550 or online at rbastl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather. The St. Louis area remains under an extreme heat warning until 7 tonight. The forecast for tonight, thunderstorms are in the forecast. Overnight low of 72. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, spot showers with a high of 81. Right now, we have 91 degrees at 4:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show
With Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey.
on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Wednesday afternoon, July 30th, St. Louis Union Station unveils 3 new rides blending history with thrills. The rides, located near the train shed on the south side of the St. Louis Wheel, will open to the public Thursday, August 28th. It's all part of a multi-million-dollar makeover at Union Station. So you've got the Wave Swinger. It's a classic swing ride that takes guests on a trip back in time to the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. It's decorated in themes from the Louisiana Purchase Expedition. Riders will sit in a swing seat and be whirled through the sky about 25 feet up. Then you have the Flying Louie. It's a pirate ship themed ride that swings in an arc reaching a height of 42 feet and giving riders an amazing view of St. Louis. And then you also have the Locomotion. It's a train themed mini spinning coaster that reaches a height of 22 feet and claims to deliver twists and turns of fun for the whole family. The rides will be open daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Guests will be able to purchase individual ride tickets or combination tickets that include Union Station's other attractions. And in addition to the new rides, Midway Games will offer a selection of classic carnival games at the Wheel Park that allow guests to test their skills and win some prizes. So it sounds like fun.
How do you see beautiful downtown St. Louis if your eyes are closed?
It's going to be hard.
Hey, Bob, you're more man than that, right?
No, I'm not a man. No, not at all.
I think these look cool. We are members of the aquarium.
Oh, you are?
Oh, that's
How
awesome.
nice.
Good for you.
So we always go down, we get on the wheel, we get on the carousel. It's going to be great to have 3 or 4 more rides to jump on.
Yeah, and then the games sound fun. Who
Yeah.
doesn't love a good carnival game every once in a while?
The Midway, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Midways were fun. Quick callback before my headline. My friend at American Airlines talking about, if you just joined us, we were talking about, do airline hostesses get tips? And I asked her, can you tip a flight attendant? Have flight attendants ever received tips? Yes, period. We discourage them, though, at American Airlines. And we asked them to tell the customers that tips are not necessary, but they can accept tips. And then she said, with 3 O's, a long time ago, when she was a flight attendant, she got a $100 tip.
Ooh, okay.
So it is discouraged.
Okay,
but
it is allowed.
But it is allowed.
Okay.
Oh,
I had a buddy that texted me, and he said if you tip your flight attendant, you can often get a few free drinks. My sister-in-law did it on the way to Cancun.
how about that?
And he sat there and watched it happen in front of him.
How about that? So my thing was, though, and this is maybe dull for most people, but we kind of love history here. And you don't think about it. You think about the Transcontinental Railway, the first one, the Golden Spike and all that.
Yeah.
Central Pacific and Union Pacific, 2 different companies, and they met at, Promontory Point in Utah? Something
it's in
like
Utah, right?
Yeah. Is it Promontory?
I can't believe when they built that. One coming east, the other one going
That they
west.
met at the right space.
met at the right.
They weren't looking across the valley. Hey, what are they doing over there?
Guys!
And they had to make a big S
Or
turn.
at least, meeting. Oh, we're just a foot off.
Shut it down. But the reason I bring that up, Union Pacific, still around, and Norfolk Southern announced an $85 billion merger, creating the first, I just never thought about it, the first actual coast-to-coast rail operator.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody always had segments. And then as I read the story, and that's great, they're doing all that, and hopefully it'll make, they'll be able to make more money and make things more efficient in moving cargo and that sort of thing. And the little bit I get to ride on trains, I really wish we could figure out this high-speed rail stuff because I would be all over it.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, to get to Chicago for a game or go to Kansas City for the
I love going
afternoon.
And when you're riding, you go to the train station. It's relaxed. It's quiet.
And don't they say from here to Chicago or from here to Kansas City, if they did high-speed rail, it could be like an hour and 50 minutes?
Yeah,
almost as fast as a flight.
Yeah, that's wild. We should definitely do that. I'm shocked. I mean, this is obviously not commuter. This is cargo. This is shipping. This is freight. But the train business is still worth $85 billion.
How about that in the merger? How about that?
And then you go back and, Bob, you listed off all those different railroads, all owned by other companies.
Just different companies.
You know, how do you get the trains to run on time when there's 50 different rail companies out there?
Takes a skill, doesn't it, to do it all? But same thing with airlines. I mean, when you think about all the different airlines that are going into airports.
Airports are owned by different cities and port authorities.
What's the song, somebody will help us, that mentions the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe? Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe.
Sometimes when you
know
hear
that
those,
song?
you forget that they're railroads.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
It's not Chattanooga Choo Choo. That's a different one.
I don't
know. What
know.
song is that? Somebody help us out.
While you do that, 84126 on the text line, listen to this story. Sir Anthony Dominguez is a veteran relief pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
He was an Oriole yesterday morning, and by the time he went to bed, he was a Blue Jay. Well, guess what? They were playing each other in a doubleheader. In between the game, he says he was hanging out with the guys in the clubhouse, and they told me, hey, you got traded. Go across the hall. You're a Blue Jay now.
Grab your stuff and get going.
It happened so quickly that he pitched later that night, striking out two of his former teammates from earlier in the day, wearing an upside-down number 8, because when they made his jersey,
They did it wrong?
They did it too quickly. So this happened, Bob, you tell us. It happens all the time.
How do you tell if an 8 is upside down is what I'm trying to figure out. Isn't it the same either way?
They got that weird font.
Isn't the top bigger than the bottom?
Okay.
Or the vice versa?
I think it's vice versa.
Vice. The traded player, Jerron Watts-Brown, was in the minor leagues, but his minor league Blue Jays team was playing the minor league Orioles team that day. So he switched
swapped
dugouts as well.
Now, I don't know if that's ever happened. Yeah, guys have done that before, and I can't recall specifics. I should have looked it up. But it has happened before, and more frequently, like if you play on Tuesday and you're traded, and then you're playing Wednesday and you're on the other team. But for a doubleheader, it is far more rare, obviously.
Here's one close to home, May 30th, 1922. The Cardinals and Cubs swapped outfielders in the middle of a doubleheader.
Gosh.
Has it ever happened in the middle of a game?
I don't know. Well,
like where you pull a guy out of right field.
No, they
and he
pulled
ends
guy
up in the dugout.
They pull. I don't think so. That would take some research, but it's not infrequent to pull a player out of a game during the game because he's been traded.
Got it. Okay.
Adam Bundren, he's filling in for Lauren Risley today.
They would never trade him.
No.
He's a big baseball guy. He's shaking his head over there.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here yet.
That's okay. We like that you're here.
I don't know the year, but Danny Jansen, I know this because I won a
former
trivia.
Blue Jays
yes,
catcher.
I know it. I won a trivia question on this. During a game, the game was suspended due to rain. And during the rain delay, he was traded and actually played that game for the other. He was the only player to ever play for 2 teams in one game.
That
But
is
it was the
crazy.
next day, if I recall, or
I think
down
it was
the road.
I think it was the next day.
Yeah.
Because of the rain delay.
Yes.
What if he was batting at the time?
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh. Yeah.
Or pitching.
Yeah.
That is so weird. It's also like they have the right measurements to get them in that uniform. Because I got to tell you, had they taken my measurements, 2 months ago, they'd be different than they are now, thanks to Premier U.
Well, your
I've
height
lost
would be
a
the
little.
same.
Wait, my height would be the same, but the pants would either be a little tighter or a little looser, depending on when they took those measurements. But I'm telling you, if you're ready to get back to feeling like the old you again, or maybe the new you, depending on which way you want to go, Premier U can actually help. Premier U, they can help you with so many different things. Hormone optimization, and that's not just for the ladies. Yes, they can help you kind of balance out your estrogen and progesterone, but they can also help with testosterone, gentlemen, and you might be surprised at what that will help with. But then as far as I'm concerned, I was a little bit nervous about Ozempic and Mounjaro. You see all the commercials, and what Premier U does is offer those weight loss medications in the generic form, so they're a little more affordable. And I was like, do I want to do this? I'm not sure. And then more and more studies come out, and it's not just they help you lose weight, but it also might help prevent some dementia. It helps you with inflammation. I got to tell you, I had my ACL redone when I was in college, and usually it's popping and aching as the weather changes. Since I've been taking the medicine, it doesn't. It feels fantastic. So there's all kinds of little things that Premier U have helped me with, and they can help you as well. There are 2 locations on each side of the river, Swansea and South County. Give them a call, schedule an appointment, 618-750-LIFE. Be sure to mention you heard it here on the Big 550. You can also go online to premiermed.com, premierumed.com. As you heard, Adam Bundrum is in the house, and we're going to chat with him about the housing market and then finding the right fit if you're ready to sell.
All right, I've got an addendum, though, to Adam's story.
Okay.
This happened last year, June 26th. The game was suspended due to rain, resumed the next day. He was batting at the time, and so he took the field as a Red Sox, and the Blue Jays had to get a pinch hitter to step in.
In the middle of the at-bat,
for
technically.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. We are insanely busy right now. It's my peak selling and buying season. I need to buy as many pristine Corvettes, Cadillacs, Vipers, Raptors, and other sports cars and luxury cars that I can find. Do you have a unique, rare, classic, or collectible vehicle you want to sell? Maybe even a daily driver with super low miles and in excellent condition. If so, we want to talk. We are cash buyers for collector-grade vehicles, including motorcycles. We've got great deals on hard-to-find, auto-check certified vehicles, too. Hop on our site today to buy, sell, or trade.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Country Club Car Wash is the best car wash in town. How do I know? I have an unlimited monthly pass to Country Club Car Wash, and it's fantastic. They're touchless, and you get free vacuums at select locations. Each and every day on the morning show, we will be giving away one free Country Club Car Wash to the text of the day. And each week, we'll be giving away a grand prize, 1 month of free Country Club Car Washes to the text of the week. We'll see you on the show, and we'll see you at Country Club Car Wash, cccwstl.com.
You're finally ready to renovate your home. Now's the time to start your project to have it completed in time for the holidays. River Bend Kitchen & More specializes in kitchens and baths, but also bars, bookcases, cabinetry, countertops, and more. They work with homeowners, contractors, and developers. Proud supplier of Waypoint Living Spaces cabinets, as well as other quality cabinetry lines. Financing is available, conveniently located in Soulard, Alton, and Rescuta. Call 314-314-7411. Online at riverbendkm.com.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our house in the middle of our streets. Our house in the middle of our house in the middle of
Well, there is always something to learn when it comes to your home and real estate. And Adam Bundren, Lauren's right-hand man at Lauren Risley Realty, has joined us to share his knowledge. So good to see you.
It's good to see you all.
Let's be honest. You're like her right hand and her left hand. You do a lot at Lauren Risley Realty.
I appreciate that. There's a ton of hands in there. There's a lot of hands.
Yeah, it's a good team.
Right.
It's a good team. So, Adam, I was on a walk this morning in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I noticed that the house that I built and then sold 15 years ago on the market. So I immediately wanted to know, what's this thing selling for?
Uh-huh.
And my neighbor is also a real estate agent. And she's like, it was $100,000 more than I sold it for. And it's already pending. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So we were having this discussion a little bit earlier. And both Bob and Josh kind of thought, well, I thought it'd be more than that.
15 years.
But that seems like a lot to me. So is that kind of the going rate these days of houses?
Yeah, well, here's the weird thing. St. Louis is such a unique area because we have so many different municipalities and so many different little townships, and which means
neighborhoods.
Yeah, neighborhoods within those municipalities. So they all act very differently of one another. And so it's really hard when someone says, like, well, is that kind of normal? Like in that neighborhood, it probably is, you know? And depending on where at in the city it is, I mean, some neighborhoods are, I don't want to say regressing, but are kind of plateauing in as far as the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I've recently sold a couple up in Newtown and then another one in Benton Park where they bought it a couple of years ago and they're selling it for pretty much the same as they did back then. And the perception is, well, why? Because the market's so crazy. And it's like, but that particular area, that's what it is. You can't say that, you know, Kirkwood is exactly the same as Rock Hill is the exact same as Marlboro. You know, they're just different.
Okay, can you say Kirkwood is the same as Webster? Or that's even different?
Well, it's a little different, but they act similarly.
Okay.
So what is similar in those is what we would say sale to list price ratio.
Okay.
So they perform similarly, but the taxes are a little bit different, and then the average sale price is a little bit different. Josh has his hand up. Yes, sir, you have a question?
If I came to you and I said, hey, I'm going to live in this house for 5 years. I want to move into a part of town that's really going to, go up in value.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy my house and sell my house for the same price.
Yeah.
Where would you suggest I go?
So if that is something that you want to do, I would probably say we're going to need to have some more information. Because if you want to buy a house and sell a house in 5 years, not knowing what the market's going to do, and you're going to do nothing to the house, it's not a very smart investment. In my judgment, what needs to happen is you need to find an area that not necessarily has great appreciation, but doesn't have regular depreciation. And then find something that you can add equity to in a simple way. So something that might need, the cabinets will be fine. Let's put new countertops in, paint the house, and it's in a good area. We're going to make some money on that.
Specifically, if I wanted to buy a starter house and I knew a couple years from now I was going to be in a better position, I was going to need to get bigger because I got a growing family. Where's my starter house going to be?
So really great areas for starter houses are like your Aftons, your Shrewsburys, even some spots in the Central Corridor in Baldwin and stuff like that is a little bit more affordable. It is going to be a healthy area because you're not going to see the stark depreciation and the huge fluctuations in the market that you would see like in certain neighborhoods in the city. I know, like, I grew up in what is now considered Southampton. In the 80s and 90s, it was not Southampton.
Right.
It was a much different neighborhood. And then for a while after the drop of the market of 2008 and 9, it really rose with, that Southampton area. And now it's kind of the same as it was last year. We don't have this huge appreciation that we had. And so I tend to try to steer people that are in, starter homes towards those areas, and I guess steering is like the opposite word that you can use in real estate that's actually illegal. But what I want them to do is just understand that you want to be in an area, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. I'm working with one right now, great young couple. I tell them all the time, like, hey, this isn't very self-serving. Buy something that you can add some equity to, and then you can refinance it when you're ready. Take the cash out of the equity, rent this, and never sell it for the rest of your life, and go buy something that you want to live in. And he's like, well, wait, aren't you a real estate agent? Don't you want to sell houses? And I go, not this one. I want you to own this one forever.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
I dig it.
great advice. I'm thinking, because my first house was over in St. Louis Hills as well. And then recently we were over on South Kings Highway. And the way they have kind of built that up, you would never have known that. Like to Josh's point of where would you buy, you wouldn't know that that's all coming 5 years down the road unless you have some crystal ball that nobody else has.
Right. Well, and I remember when I think I went to a conference or something about city living, and they were talking about the Skinker to Bolivar area and what WashU was planning on investing in that area. And before they did that, I mean, it was still very nice, but it is nowhere near what it is now, to where all these businesses and restaurants and the rail car, everything that's over there. I mean, it is a hopping place. And so if you can if you can strike, lightning in a bottle, sure. I mean, do it. But in my mind, when you are a first-time home buyer, you're looking for safety and predictability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit, too, about when you're the right match if you're ready to sell. We'll talk about that after we get a quick check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, it's been a quiet afternoon on the roads. Right now, southbound 55 is heavy and stop and go at times from Gasconade to South Broadway. Westbound 64 is busy from Kings Highway to Hampton and from 364 to the 64 interchange. Eastbound 64 bogs down at 170. Southbound 270 is crowded around Olive. And eastbound 64 is congested from just east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Aldon Indoor Air Quality Specialists. Repairs are cheaper than replacements. That's a myth. Stop pouring money into that old AC. We'll buy back your old AC system and give you $500 plus 0% financing for 24 months. Your family stays cool and your wallet does too. Visit al-don.com to learn more about Daikin Fit Systems. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
We're chatting with Adam Bundren, who is with Larn Risley Realty, and we were talking off air about finding the right fit, because I will tell you, when I was selling that house that I mentioned a while ago, it wasn't the right fit for me. I ended up firing the real estate agent. It just did not work well. How do you handle that?
So it's funny because in this market, you have to act quickly, right? Buyers have to act quickly. Sellers want to sell quickly. And so people think that the administrative side needs to happen quickly. And actually, that's where it needs to go slowly. That's the piece that needs to, you need to take your time. You need to have a conversation with your potential realtor. And realtors should be having a very purposeful conversation with potential clients.
And why is that?
Because there's just there's a lot of nuance that happens in this market, and if you aren't prepared for that, you're going to feel like you're getting beat up all along the way. And so our sellers are very prepared to sell, and our buyers are very prepared to buy. But there are times where through that meeting, through that consultation, I will maybe feel like we're not a fit, and maybe we shouldn't work together.
And will you say something?
I have.
You have?
Oh, of course.
And how do you address that to still be kind of customer focused?
Just with kindness, there's some hard and fast rules, right? We have federal and state fair housing laws, and when you can tell that someone is going to influence you or try to influence you to go against those, either through discrimination or things like that, then that's a pretty easy, like, hey, I didn't realize that, this was kind of going to be the relationship, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to leave, and I wish you the best of luck. And you just move on. And then sometimes, like for instance, Jamie on our team, who's fantastic, She was a police officer for 10 years. And I've walked into appointments or had kind of introductions where I know for a fact that person would be more comfortable with Jamie. And so I don't have to, I tell people all the time, you don't have to work with everyone.
Yeah.
I think that there's this idea of scarcity within sales probably in general, but certainly our industry, where you feel like if you pass on a sale or if you pass something over to somebody, you're never going to make money in this business. And I think that that's just the wrong way to think about it. We're in it to serve. And if you find out what that person needs and what type of service they need, then you can really honor their journey.
Well, and I do think that that's one of the many reasons that Lauren Risley Realty is really a great company, just because that's the way all of you guys look at it. And if you deal with one of you, you've kind of dealt with all of you because you kind of see the same, you have the same work ethic and the same kind of feeling about who you're working with, which is fantastic. Well, Adam, it's always great to have you in instead of Lauren. I mean, come on.
I agree.
You know, it's great to change things up. We're just kidding, Lauren. And a lot about what we talk about here, you and Lauren really break down in big ways on Call the Closer with Lauren Risley Realty. Airs here on the Big 550
That's
KTRS Sundays at 1. And of course, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, because you guys really do answer so many questions when people call. Yeah, knowledge is power. Call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. You can also email Lauren at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com. Adam, thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all.
In the middle of our streets, our house. In the middle of our house.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Cooler outflow from decayed thunderstorms to the northwest are actually keeping our temperatures down a little bit. That's why it's been a little cooler. We still have a chance for a shower or thunderstorm into the evening, but now the better chance for a strong to severe storm is going to be south of St. Louis. And we get a little taste of the cooler air that really takes hold for Thursday. A low of 73, a high of just 80 under mostly cloudy skies. It is going to be still muggy, and there's about a 30% chance to catch a shower, but it's a much cooler day. And Friday, the humidity goes down, so 80 degrees, mostly sunny and low humidity. Just a great Friday, and that just about continues into the weekend. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal
It's
Roofing
one of
is
baseball's
the home
fiercest rivalries, the Cubs versus the Cardinals, and the action returns to Busch Stadium the weekend of August 8th through the 10th. Feel the heat, the history, and the excitement as these two legendary teams battle it out under the summer lights. 3 big games, 2 historic teams, 1 electric atmosphere you won't want to miss. Great seats remain. Secure yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game, it's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
Permajack of St. Louis is synonymous with foundation repair and basement waterproofing across the St. Louis region. They know when you get water in your basement following a storm or when the snow melts, it means you have a problem. Make sure your basement doesn't leak or flood with Permajack of St. Louis. Permajack's basement waterproofing experts can perform a complete inspection of your basement to determine the problem and design a solution to keep water from entering and damaging your home. The solution could be as simple as crack repair or a sump pump, or more comprehensive like exterior waterproofing or an internal perimeter drainage system. No matter the solution, your basement will be dry with Hometown Permajack. Schedule a free inspection and estimate by visiting permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, foundation repair and waterproofing. Done right.
I'm Jenny Smith, the Kolache Factory in Brentwood, and we are a proud sponsor of the Salvation Army Christmas in July Toy Drive on KTRS. What's a kolache, you ask? It's a sweet or savory pastry filled with delectable ingredients from bacon, egg, and cheese to barbecue brisket. Each day, our bakers make our dough using the finest, freshest ingredients. Our handmade kolaches at Kolache Factory satisfy breakfast, lunch, and a snack attack craving. We even do party trays for all your big catering events. Come into Kolache Factory in Brentwood and order ahead at KolacheFactoryToGo.com.
Seems like everyone has some sort of hail damage to their car. And if that's you, Dents Express is the next phone call. You see, Dents Express has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in paintless dent removal, hail damage, and minor collision repair. They have 2 locations. At Dents Express, they will work with your insurance company and handle all the paperwork and get your car back to you looking as good as new. Dents Express, STL.com. 2 locations, 1 great family, Dents Express, STL.com.
Our troops overseas will always miss their loved ones throughout the year. Let them know you miss them. Support our troops by sending a care package. This message is courtesy of NJL Custom Homes, where sound understanding of property values is combined with shrewd assessment of individual buyer needs. For all of your custom home building needs, call 314-575-7481. That's 314-575-7481. Visit them online at njlcustomhomes.com.
Something new is hidden inside City Museum, a twisting maze of metal and myth. Walls made of syrup tanks and Twinkie pans, glass from an old library, secrets behind every turn, and deep inside, a 2-story slide unlike anything before. The all-new 4th floor expansion, Labyrinth, is now open. You have to lose yourself to find your path. Play all summer with a summer play pass, only $34.99 at citymuseum.org.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Yesterday, we were talking about some canned goods that are no longer, and we were talking about Chef Boyardee pizza. And somebody on the text line said, Josh, did you make the Chef Boyardee pizza? We have not yet, but Josh did indeed.
He followed through.
Buy it. We've got some pepperoni. We've got some mozzarella. We didn't have time to make it today. We will do it next week.
I guess I didn't think about this. The box sits on a shelf. Obviously, there's not cheese inside of it.
Well, there is actually. It's a Parmesan cheese. It's a powdered cheese. And most people, when they made it, would add their own cheese. But everything is in that box that you need unless you want to juzz it up a little bit.
Yeah, zhuzh.
Yeah, as far as that goes. Speaking of, Kraft is coming out with a pizza-flavored mac and cheese for a limited time. Are you in or out?
Well, I wonder what pizza flavor. Pepperoni, pineapple.
Oh, that's a great.
Sardines.
It says notes of garlic and classic Italian spices capture the essence of a classic slice in every bite.
I would try it. I would try it.
What color is it?
Well, it doesn't.
When it's all said and done.
I don't see a color
What
description
color do you want it to
on
be,
here.
Josh?
I want it to be a little red, like the pizza sauce.
Oh, you do?
Oh, red
I
mac
will
and
say
cheese.
there have been times where
Reddish
I've
hue.
had a little mac and cheese with a little dab of ketchup. Don't say anything, Bob.
Whoa!
Yeah, back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Now you're speaking my
I think
language.
it's because my mom did it, and then occasionally I did it.
What if you put just a little sweet barbecue sauce instead of the ketchup?
Now
See?
that might be delicious.
We had neighbors that lived across the street from us. They were from the Philippines. Their mom was my allergist for years and years. And they would make rice, and they would dip their rice into ketchup. And I thought it was just the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I told Bob's probably going to throw up in his mouth, but
just a little bit.
I eat hot dogs just as a reason to eat ketchup.
Okay.
You're just doing that to mess with me now.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's just poking the bear.
Yeah.
Not for any of us since we are off the market, but if you are single, listen up. Netflix is looking for singles in St. Louis for a new season of Love is Blind. Of course, it's hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey. And Love is Blind is that sort of social experiment where men and women try to find love without seeing each other. the singles date in windowless pods, allowing them to form what they say strong emotional connections. And then couples only meet face to face after a marriage proposal is accepted. But the company that produces the show announced earlier this week it is casting single men and women in St. Louis who are brave, open-minded, and ready for committed relationship. You have to be 21 years old, a legal U.S. resident to be eligible for the show. And you can find more on the website.
Quick roundtable question.
Yes.
What was the situation when you first laid eyes on Marcia?
Thought she was really cute.
But what was the situation?
We were at Lilith Fair back in
whatever
year was that? At Riverport.
At Riverport.
When I
97.
Yeah, when I first moved here.
I'm sorry to laugh, but
You already did it, so I'm used to it.
I was my wife was bartending, and Michael Jackson had just died. And I never met her before, and she was moonwalking behind the bar, and I elbowed a friend.
And like, I got to get to
and
know
I
her.
said, I'm gonna marry that woman.
No, you didn't.
You
Yes.
didn't say marry.
Yeah, I probably did.
No,
I probably did. It
you're
took me
adding
a
to the story.
Whole year for her to agree to go on a date with me.
You hounded her. You were stalked.
Yes, I
If she
wore
can
her.
moonwalk behind a bar
Wore her
that's
down.
sticky, that is impressive.
I didn't say it was a good moonwalk.
Oh, okay.
So I first saw Jen running wind sprints in West Pine Gym.
Oh, and she was so fast, you thought, okay, can I take her?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. It was. I don't know. It was just the chemistry. How do you explain it?
Yeah, you can't. You just have it or you don't.
Gonna have to catch me first. I've got a new dating trend, and based on Heidi's description of this terrible television show, I thought at first it was that show that was the biggest streaming show on
Love
Peacock.
Island?
It's not
Yeah,
Love Island.
no. Love is Blind.
Can you imagine going on a blind date right now? I've never gone on a blind date. Can you imagine proposing to someone sight unseen? I am just so glad I'm not on the market these days.
It would be tough, but a lot of what you do online with Match and different things, it's getting to know somebody before you actually meet
I
them.
wonder what I would do if I was 25 and single now. I can't even imagine.
I wouldn't even know. My cousin went on a date. He's grown, 30, late 30s. He went on a date, and he was texting us about it, and he said, I asked for her phone number by the end of the date. And I said, wait a minute. Apparently on the dating sites,
no,
you're not allowed to give out your phone number.
Oh.
But
You
you
are
go
not.
and meet up, and then if you like each other, then you give out your phone number,
Right.
and you go on a second date, or is that the first date then?
Well, it depends on, and I do know that there are certain people that if you've been talking for a month, you might say, feel free to text me.
Yeah.
But
Give me a call.
But on the apps and the websites, that is not an option.
I guess I didn't realize that. But here's the newest dating trend. It's called flocking. Can you guys?
You go in a group, big groups.
That's what I thought.
No,
But that's not what it is?
That is not correct. Not even close. Actually, quite the opposite. It is going on a vacation by yourself with the expressed intent of looking for love in a different city. Flocking. And
Okay.
and I guess the name comes from you flock to Martha's Vineyard for the summer.
I feel like there could be a better name for this.
Yeah.
I don't care for it either. But again, I see this online and I'm like, thank the Lord that I'm already taken.
How about these stories? I went on a blind date set up by my mom 33 years later, still together.
Nice.
Moms know best.
Moms.
Here's another one. I broke up with my girlfriend, decided I wanted to switch from nights to days at my job at FedEx. I met my wife at one of my first stops on my new route, married 27 years.
Oh, my. That's a
married the
great
FedEx guy.
story.
Yeah. Blind date for prom in 1983. At least my mom liked him. Okay, that's
we'll leave it at that.
hilarious, too. I got to tell you this, and it is one of those things that you have to like certain things. Each of you have to kind of be able to at least agree on so much if you're going to really make it work. And it's amazing how much we enjoy getting out in the RV. Byerly RV knows what they're doing because they're not necessarily selling you an RV. They're selling you a little home on wheels that get you away with your family, whether that is a couple of dogs and your partner, or if it is the family of grandchildren. You're getting away from home without really leaving home because you have all the things that feel like home with you. Byerly RV has been around for nearly 80 years. I mean, that is saying something, and things have changed throughout the years. So if you're thinking about a camper from even 5 years ago, think again. These things are incredible. I mean, some of them have heated floors. We're talking about washer and dryers.
Heated floors?
It's crazy.
Wow.
Fireplaces and even a dishwasher. I mean, it really is a tiny home on wheels. And then you wake up and the scenery that you want to see. We're talking about lakes or oceans or mountains, whatever it is you love. And it can be different each weekend if you want it to be. Byerly RV is where you start this journey. ByerlyRV.com, or swing by the dealership. I mean, they have more than 30 brands of new RVs in stock, and they have something for everyone. Again, Byerly RV, it's right there at 109 and 44 in Eureka. You cannot miss it.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit.
You're selling your home, and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robangproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
A big KTRS shout out to Lacey Lumber, family owned and family operated since 1872. Lacey Lumber has built the St. Louis metropolitan area. They've worked with builders and contractors and homeowners. They provide building materials from soup to nuts. 2 hardware stores in Belleville ready to serve you. Millwork, insulating material, wallboard, roofing materials, you name it, Lacey Lumber can help because Lacey Lumber is just that much better. LaceyLumber.com.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, Louis has joined us in studio. He's a 6th grader with a podcast. We'll talk to him in just a second. But first, we got to talk a little traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, the quiet afternoon on the roads continues. Right now, southbound 55 is heavy and stop and go at times from Potomac to South Broadway. Westbound 64 is stop and go at Kings Highway and remains crowded past Hampton. Eastbound 64 bogs down at 170. Southbound 270 is crowded around Olive. And eastbound 64 is congested from just east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, every once in a while, we'll donate the opportunity to sit in with us at an auction. I'm so excited to have Louis Wolf joining us. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, okay, you're going into 6th grade at Christ Prince of Peace. How was 5th grade, first of all?
It was a cool and really, really hard.
It was?
Yeah,
like,
it was hard.
The homework was hard? Was it the teacher was not easy?
The teacher wasn't really easy, and the book reports were torture.
Not book reports. Come on.
What did you do a book report on? Did you have to do several?
No, like we have to read like 6 books every quarter.
Whoa.
Every quarter.
Yeah, we have to do a book report on all of them.
Which give me a couple titles.
Last Kids on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I survived the the Hornet, the Killer Bees one.
Okay. All right, Louis, that's the only thing I was ever good at in school.
Okay.
So you just slide those my way.
Oh.
And we'll get them taken care of.
We know, Josh. Go ahead and do it yourself.
Yeah, you're going to get a better grade with that. I mean, sitting with us is nothing. You have your own podcast, Louis and Olive's Wild Wolfpack Adventures. Okay, Olive's your sister?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, did your parents make her be a part of the podcast, or did you choose her?
They just did.
Uh-huh. That's usually the way
But
parents work.
you were on board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And you get top billing. It says Louis and Olive. So tell me about the podcast. What do you guys talk about?
At first, I want to talk about my favorite Roblox game called Doors.
Oh, I don't know about Doors. Is it a fun game?
Yes, it is really fun. I like to play it all the time. And in fact, I might go play it after this.
Oh, and so then on your podcast, people can kind of watch you play it? Because your podcast is on YouTube, right?
No, I just like to play it for fun.
Okay.
Got it.
That's your personal time.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so then when it comes to your podcast, what do you guys talk about?
So on my podcast, I like to post like funny videos. And sometimes I react to stuff.
Yeah. So fun. When did you start doing this? I mean, you're in 6th grade, but that's still pretty young for a podcast.
I did this my mom created the YouTube channel, and this was my first video was 5 years ago.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
That's crazy. So is this something that you want to do, when you get grown?
Sure, maybe.
Yeah?
You can do better. Are you naturally chatty? Do you talk a lot? Do the teachers have to tell you to be quiet? Or is this just something you started to do and it felt natural?
I don't really know.
Well, do you feel like you talk a lot
Do you
all the
get in
time?
trouble for talking a lot?
I don't really talk a lot. I'm pretty much kind of a quiet kid sometimes.
Yeah, but once that microphone goes on, tell me about it. We did a show a couple weeks ago, and Louis, I feel like this is right up your alley. We got more texts than ever, and we were talking about the best French fries.
The best French fries?
What are your favorite French fries, Louis?
I love the ones at McDonald's.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a classic.
Standard fry.
Also love the ones at Hooters when they're curled up.
Oh, the curly fries.
Yeah, the curly fries.
But they're not seasoned curlies, they're yellow curlies.
What do you mean? Like a golden?
Do you know what he's talking about, Louis?
They're a yellow McDonald's fry, but they're curly. They're not that seasoned dark brown curly fry that you're thinking of. And Louis, you get that cheese on the side.
Do you like them with cheese?
I just eat them plain.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so when it comes to favorite foods, we obviously know you like fries. What else is a favorite food?
Pizza.
Okay, so listen to this. We were just talking about this, and Kraft is going to do a mac and cheese pizza flavor. Are you in or out?
No.
No.
And I only have one flavor I like.
What is your favorite flavor?
Pepperoni.
Yeah, my man, give me some of that.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you probably like cheese pizza too,
Uh,
right?
cheese pizza's okay, but
fine.
little kids, isn't
pepperoni.
it?
It's fine.
Okay, so at Christ Prince of Peace, do you have to take your own lunch to school? Is there a cafeteria and you get to order?
So at CPOP,
Yep.
sometimes you get to bring your own lunch, and you can order some stuff like some snacks and some like milk and apple juice and
Yeah.
stuff.
So you're going to start 6th grade. Is there like a big project that you're going to have to do this year that you're nervous about?
I don't really know yet.
Got it. Still learning about all of it, but not as many book reports.
No. She said there aren't any book reports.
Oh, you're going to skate right through. That's
All right.
beautiful.
Louis, Heidi's been complaining about this since the 4th of July. She feels like the summer's over. August is tomorrow or on Friday.
Yeah.
Are you already feeling that dread, like school is right around the corner?
Yes.
Did you see his eyes when he said it? Yes.
Deer in headlights.
Well, did you know that your mom and dad were bidding on this so you could come in, or how did this all come to be?
This like interview?
Yeah.
So like one day I was just chilling, and he was like, "Hey, you're gonna be in an interview." I'm like, "Wait, what? No."
You don't seem nervous at all, though. You're very chill.
Yeah.
That's how you
Is
are.
that the kind of way you are at school as well?
Yeah.
You play any sports?
I don't play any sports at school, but I play swimming at Lifetime.
Oh, nice. That's a great activity.
Yeah, and that's something you can do the rest of your life.
That's awesome.
Anything on the girl front that you want to talk about?
No.
No.
Keep that on the down low.
Hey,
Not to you.
just keeping all the options open as you enter 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
You have a pretty big class. How many people are in your class?
I think there's gonna be about 30.
Oh, that's pretty
Good size.
good. Yeah. And do you have the same teacher as you had last year, or you move up and you don't have to deal with that one again?
I have a new teacher.
Got it.
All right.
And are you excited about it?
Yeah.
All right. And you want to give like a shout out to the principal so that you are in good graces when the school starts?
Yep.
Yeah. Like saying, man, this is the best principal ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louis Wolf, thank you so much for coming in. Good luck with the podcast and 6th grade.
Franzen. The August 1st tariff deadline is coming fast, with dozens of countries facing steep hikes on imports into the U.S., costs that get passed on to businesses and likely U.S. consumers. President Trump today at a health and technology event says trade talks with China are ongoing.
Scott Bessent's been working, just got back from a little excursion and a meeting with China in Europe, and that went well.
The president also says India, another big trader, faces a 25% hike on goods this Friday if they don't resolve trade issues. The uncertainty over tariffs leading the Federal Reserve Board today to hold interest rates steady. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the overall economy remains resilient.
Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to show through more clearly to prices of some goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen.
Two members of the board appointed by President Trump dissented in the opinion. It comes as the nation's GDP grew by an annual rate of 3% in the second quarter of 2025, higher than what analysts expected, but economists say that also includes businesses that were stocking up before tariffs kick in. Starvation in Gaza increasing with each day. At least 37 civilians killed today trying to access aid in northern Gaza. Scott Paul is the director of peace and security at Oxfam America. He says he believes there's enough food in the region to feed people in Gaza for 2 months.
There used to be 400 distribution sites for humanitarian assistance around Gaza. Now there are only 4.
Canada's Prime Minister joining Britain and France, announcing they'll support a Palestinian state at this year's UN General Assembly if Israel does not agree to a Gaza ceasefire. At UN meetings this week, Arab countries also supporting a 2-state solution and urging Hamas to disarm. You're listening to ABC News.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page has been indicted by a grand jury for allegedly using public funds on a flyer about Proposition B earlier this year. Page was indicted on 2 felony counts of stealing by deceit. The indictment alleges Page illegally used public funds to produce flyers and postcards and spent more than $25,000 on postage to mail the flyers and postcards to residents. A court date for Page has been set for August 29th. The search for a missing O'Fallon woman has come to a tragic end. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Police say the body of 36-year-old Kiwana Montgomery was found yesterday inside of a drainage culvert near Highway K and Christina Marie Drive in O'Fallon. Montgomery was reported missing by her family on Sunday. An autopsy will be conducted to determine a cause of death. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The Director of Safety and Security for St. Louis Public Schools has resigned. Terrell Baker announced his resignation yesterday after 8 months on the job. He's leaving to accept a job in emergency operations with the Missouri School Boards Association. Baker is the second to resign from the position within a year. Colonel DeAndre Davis resigned from the position last October. A popular mega dog park is closing all its locations, including here in St. Louis. The owners of Bar K announced yesterday it was shutting down effective immediately amid financial challenges and is unable to provide refunds to members. This comes after only 2 years in business. In addition to the 2-acre dog park, Bar K also had a doggy daycare, boarding, groomer, events room, indoor-outdoor restaurant, and 3 bars. The other Bar K locations are in Kansas City and Oklahoma City. The St. Louis Zoo Wildcare Park has announced that it's working on a unique way that children will be able to learn about animal care using virtual reality. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The zoo's Wildcare Park and Conservation Center that covers 425 acres in North County near the Mississippi won't officially open until 2027, but work is underway and it's already home to around 40 animals. At the request of the zoo, staff at the Center for Crime Science and Violence Prevention at SIU Edwardsville have begun developing a virtual reality simulation and software that will show visitors how to feed and care for animals there and keep them safe. According to Professor Dennis Mayers, they are now finalizing the project that he says will provide a great introduction to young people about the complexities of animal care. And he says the project should be completed and ready for use by fall. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minutes is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Wall Street at the close today. Dow Jones down 171 points to finish at 44,461. S&P 500 down 8 points to 6,362. NASDAQ up 31 points to 21,129. Now let's get a check of sports and traffic from Captain Paul Kopsky.
Sobe, the Cardinals and the Marlins play the rubber game of their 3-game series tonight at Busch with Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Birds. Last night, the Cardinals were blanked by the Marlins 5-0, managing just 4 hits. And Mizzou starting left guard Caden Green has been added to the preseason watch list for the Outland Trophy. The Outland is presented to the best interior offensive lineman in the country. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. Westbound 64 is stop and go at Kings Highway and remains heavy past Hampton. Eastbound 64 bogs down from 170 to Big Bend. Southbound 270 crowded around Olive. Southbound 55 is stop and go at South Broadway. And eastbound 64 is congested from Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. If the recent storms have you saying, oh, hail, Bring your car, truck, SUV, or van to Dents Express for a free hail damage repair evaluation. Dents Express will have your ride looking like new again, and they'll even take care of the insurance paperwork. That's Dents Express at dentsexpressstl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, Paul. KTRS weather. The St. Louis area remains under an extreme heat warning until 7 tonight. We have thunderstorms in the forecast tonight with an overnight low of 72. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, spot showers with a high of 81. Right now, 90 degrees at 5:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Can you hear it? That's the sound of the beginning of the countdown to Mizzou football.
Coach Free scooped up by Missouri Zion Young at the 15, to the 10, to the house, to the house, to the house with 30 seconds.
Get geared up, St. Louis, as the Big 550, the home of Mizzou football, brings you all the action and everything Mizzou. Yeah! Don't miss any of the action. We are the Big 550 KTRS. Hear us roar. Starting Thursday, August 28th. Powered by Royal Banks of Missouri. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
With CBS canceling Late Night with Stephen Colbert, we thought it was a good time to look back at the king of late night. Mike Thomas is one of the authors of Carson the Magnificent, Johnny Carson's biography, and he joins us with a look back at his greatness. Thanks so much for making time for us.
Hey, Heidi, how are you? It's great to be here.
Well, we are so excited to talk to you. And I mean, out of the gate, is there something that you saw that Johnny Carson had that just no one else seemed to possess that made him so great?
I don't know. Johnny always had an ease about himself on stage, and he also had, what he considered to be this great empathy with his audience. He could sort of sense what direction they were going, and he felt a real sort of closeness with them when he was on stage. And he was always himself. That was his advice to other, comics, talk show hosts, whatever. He'd say, just tell the truth and be yourself. Nobody like him then or since.
Yeah.
Before we get into the nuance and some of the other things I want to ask you about is I was watching clips the other night, and his timing and reaction to whatever is going on, whether it's something from the band, a guest, audience reaction to one of his jokes, the way he reacted and his timing was impeccable, wasn't it?
It was. Part of that was Johnny was a really good listener. And you can tell that by his timing when he reacts to things, but also in his conversations with guests. He wasn't waiting to jump in with a joke. He would sort of let them lead, and it was almost like a dance. And it's funny, like his mom always told him, like even when he was famous, she always was saying like, well, you could still do something respectable, Johnny. But she always thought he could be a journalist, because of that quality about him. But yeah, he was a great listener and a great reactor.
Well, I'm wondering, did he come in with a huge list of questions, or would he just kind of have a bullet point and then go with wherever the person he was interviewing led him?
Yeah, I mean, there were some, questions in mind, but those were pretty free-form, mostly. He kind of let his curiosity lead him. I get the sense that there wasn't quite the intense pre-interviewing way back when that there is today. And if you notice, too, like he had 90 minutes for many, many years, and so he had a much longer time to talk with people and have a real conversation. And so it was just sort of a back and forth and not necessarily even talking about a project the person had. A lot of people came on that show with nothing to promote, just to shoot the breeze with Johnny. Yeah.
And I want to know when it went from 90 minutes to just an hour long, but when did John take over The Tonight Show, and what was he doing before that? Was he a comedian?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a comedian. He was comedically inclined. He had been doing, he took over The Tonight Show on October 1st, 1962. But, it was all a gradual process. He was, in Nebraska doing radio, and then he was out in L.A. doing radio. He did a little bit in New York. So throughout the 50s and up to 1962, he was building his persona. He was learning how to interview people. He was watching and listening to his favorite comedians and absorbing what they had, Jack Benny, Red Skelton, guys like that. And by the time he got to The Tonight Show, he had hosted, a half dozen shows, including Carson's Cellar and Carson's Coffee Break and the Johnny Carson Show, which was a local thing in Los Angeles. But The Tonight Show was his first huge stage.
And Mike, was he plucked to do that? Did he audition? How did the role come about?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he got the role. There were other people who, had sort of vied for the position, but they thought Johnny was the right guy to succeed Jack Parr. He couldn't get out of his contract though with ABC because he was still doing a show with ABC, and so he had to watch a cavalcade of sort of guest hosts go in and go in for Parr over a period of months. And I think at that point he was kind of afraid, well, maybe they won't pick me after all, but. He was finally let out of his contract, and he started the show in October, and, he was the guy for the job.
No doubt.
Yeah, he really was, and it's interesting. I'm older than my partners here, but I've talked about it before on the air, how it was such appointment television, and it didn't take very long to get there, did it? I remember begging. I finally got to an age, let me just stay up for the monologue. Yeah. And then it was now the bit after the first commercial, and then finally, by the time high school rolled around, I could watch the whole show. But I think that was not unusual to Americans across the country.
No, it wasn't. It was appointment television. Everybody watched the same show at the same time. I mean, he had anywhere from, 10 to 16, 17 million viewers a night, and they were all watching him at the same time, and then they would all talk about him at the same time the next morning. So it was this very sort of communal experience that we don't have these days because we're all siloed. We can all watch exactly what conforms to our own sense of humor or political sensibility or whatever that was. Johnny had such a wide audience across all kinds of boundaries that it was a unique experience that'll never be replicated.
So true. We're talking to Mike Thomas, one of the authors of Carson the Magnificent, of course, the biography of Johnny Carson. I've always wondered, did he like the power that he had when it came to stand-up comics when he would wave them over, or was he like, I don't want to be this guy?
No, I don't think he was like, I don't want to be this guy, but he did downplay his role as a kingmaker. It was undeniable, though. Like, I think Richard Belzer called, Johnny would make this gesture with his thumb and forefinger, like A-OK, and Richard called it God's gesture. Like, it was right from the mountaintop. And in those days, of course, there weren't that many channels. Like, so many people were watching that show that if Johnny gave you the high sign or invited you over to the couch or laughed until he fell off his chair, which he often did, that could literally get you gigs overnight, possibly a talk show of your own or a sitcom of your own. And there are countless comics who talk about that. And so they had a soft spot for Johnny in that regard.
Johnny seemed great on the air, but his personal life, especially from that book that his lawyer wrote a couple of years ago, seems incredibly dark. Jay Leno, Jimmy Fallon, they seem incredibly affable in their private life. Dave and Johnny, they seem very prickly. What was he like as a person off camera?
Yeah, well, Johnny off camera was not Johnny on camera. I mean, he had an ease about him on camera and this impossible coolness. I think he was more withdrawn off camera. He was more hot-headed. He could, especially when he was drinking, he could get emotionally and physically violent. And so, yeah, there was a lot of darkness in his life, but it wasn't all darkness. I mean, that book was it seemed like evening a score to some degree. This book is not that book. There's a lot of warts in this book, but not only warts. And I think that's how you have to tell a story. You have to tell the truth about people's darkness as well as their light. I mean, with all the darkness in his life, Johnny was also a huge philanthropist, not excusing any of the bad behavior, but there's two sides to the man.
Yeah. And Mike, what do you think would surprise most of his audience to know about Johnny?
I think Johnny always felt like this just Midwestern regular guy at heart. For as many of the trappings of fame as he had around him, this huge glass fortress on a bluff in Malibu, and the cars and the beautiful women and the money I just think he still considered himself the boy from Nebraska who happened to make it big. He was not a grandiose guy. At least I don't get the impression that he was, and he liked just talking with average people. Even on the show, he would have on a 100-year-old farmer who grew a giant potato or something. I mean, that's not exactly the guess, but you get the drift. So,
honestly, those are some of his best moments. And I think what is so great about Johnny Carson, and you can still, catch the episodes on MeTV, it still holds up and his comedy is still good.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little, campy toward the end. Of course, it had run, 25 years before Arsenio Hall started stealing the show, and everything has to come to an end, and everything, it started to get a bit dated. It was him against Arsenio, this Midwestern kind of conservative guy. Not politically, but just mannerisms versus this, this cool cat who was, had a whole different audience and a different act. So for a long time, though, he really held on to that top spot. He was the man.
I think how this book actually came together itself is a story. Carson the Magnificent. Tell us about your co-author and what happened to him.
Yeah, Bill Zamey, who wrote the vast majority of this book, 3/4 of this book, he was a writer for Rolling Stone and Esquire magazine. And I first met Bill when I moved to Chicago in 95, early 96, because I had been reading him since high school. I loved his style. I was a wannabe, journalist, celebrity journalist, whatever you want to call it. And so I just wrote him a letter one day and dropped him some of my horrible freelance clips. I was in my early 20s. And he responded, and so we met up, and it turned out he had been working on Jay Leno's memoir with Jay, needed a little help, so I started helping him just do scut work on that, and that grew into a 3-year partnership where we did books on Andy Kaufman, on Frank Sinatra, we did a Regis Philbin book together, and then I left for a newspaper career at the Chicago Sun-Times, but we remained friends throughout the years. And Bill got cancer in 2013, about 8 years after starting on this Carson book. And he hung on for 10 years and died in 2023. And his editor called me, who's now the publisher CEO of Simon & Schuster, and said, "What do you think about completing this book Bill was never able to complete?"
Wow.
And it just seemed to me like this amazing kind of full circle moment. This is the guy who taught me how to make books. He was my mentor in many ways. And so I considered it. It was not an undaunting prospect, but I finally said yes.
How do you write a book about Johnny Carson 20 years after he's passed? Who did you talk to? Who did Bill talk to? What were the notes about?
Well, I mean, Bill had done so much research before I got to it. I mean, he had a whole storage locker filled with folders and transcripts and every artifact you can imagine. I barely had to do any new original reporting. I mean, a little bit with some writers and assistants to fill in some blanks. But Bill and his other research assistants had gathered far more than either of us would ever need. And that was part of Bill's issue. He always thought he needed more, and so he kept collecting, and it piled up, and it was intimidating after a while. So he became kind of frozen. But I knew I had a deadline, and so I spent months and months going through the material, seeing what I needed to complete Johnny's story, take him across the finish line, and I was able to do it.
Mike, when you're so close to it and you're a journalist, trained journalist, and you're objective, as opposed to people like me, I'm a fan, and I start going through all the bits and all the moments. Did you already have favorite things? Did that develop, or did you have to remove yourself from that?
Yeah, it's funny. I had favorite things, and I was always a Johnny fan, and I certainly know where he is in the firmament. But Bill was 12 years older than me. Bill grew up in his teens watching Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I watched the end of Johnny and then Letterman and Conan. So I was kind of in that camp. So I was already removed, or more removed from Johnny than Bill was. He was a super fan, and that lends a different sort of sense to the book, because he's telling it from that vantage point as well as from a biographer's.
Yeah. Do you think that Johnny Carson's Tonight Show would make it today?
Make it? That's really hard to transplant something from that long ago to today. I think so. Everybody talks about the fact that Johnny was fairly apolitical, or the fact, or at least he didn't harp on the politics. But it was such a different atmosphere, and there was no social media, and we weren't siloed like we are today. And I don't know if it would or not. I think today it's about capturing a niche audience.
So
I don't
true.
know if you can go for the big general audience these days, like Johnny did. But there was 3 or 4 channels, and he was on one of them.
Everybody has their favorite Tonight Show moments, but what about the guests? When this guest was on the Tonight Show, that was appointment television.
Yeah, you mean when you're asking me to pick a favorite guest?
Yeah, or just it's agreed upon by society as a whole.
Oh God, I mean, I think Rickles was always a great one on the Tonight Show. They always had it. They were always freewheeling, and Newhart, and I mean, there's so many moments. Burt Reynolds was willing to play. He loved people who were willing to play around and get goofy. I mean, Robin Williams, if he even like his first appearance on the Tonight Show is crazy, and he was crazy until the end. And Johnny loved it.
Yeah,
he just absolutely loved it. So any of those people who were willing to play around and kind of tease Johnny and have a great conversation, were his favorite guests. And I think as a result, they were the viewers' favorite guests because, Johnny made you look good.
You kind of just felt it right there, wherever you were watching, whether it was from your bed or the living room. And Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, your book, Carson the Magnificent, sold wherever books are sold. And what a great time to look back at the king of late night. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you all. I'm happy to do it. Great being on.
I mean, doesn't it just take you back and you see him coming through those, colorful curtains as far as that goes? And, one of my most memorable trips when I was young is we went out to Hollywood and took a tour of, Universal and all of that stuff. Altair can help you book one of those trips as well because there's so much to see and do. Josh, you finally went to Universal, right? Because you usually do Disney.
We did go to Universal.
Yeah.
And it was great.
And so it's one of the many things. I talk a lot about Altair Travel and Cruises kind of helping you plan the Disney trip or a Disney cruise, but Altair Travel and Cruises can help you with any of it, whatever it is that you want to go and do and see. Maybe it's just history in general, and you want to go to Ireland or you want to see where your ancestors grew up. Altair Travel and Cruises can help with that as well. Wherever it is you want to go, and whether you want to be adventurous or you want to rest and relax, or maybe you want it to be a spa weekend, or you want it to be a golf weekend, Altair Travel and Cruises, they do all of that and then some. AltairTravel.com is the website, and you can see all of the featured destinations. They're constantly going somewhere. You can see some of the great pictures of people traveling, and they can do it for you as well. 314-968-9600 is the office of Altair Travel and Cruises there in Brentwood. But go to online. That's the easiest way to handle it. AltairTravel.com.
All right, Johnny's Theme is the name of this song.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got another name, but I can't.
Who wrote it?
I can't see.
Did Skitch Anderson write it?
No, Paul Anka.
Oh, right. I
wrote
did know that.
Johnny's
Yes.
Theme. It also says by Paul Anka and Johnny Carson. So maybe Carson got some royalties off it too. But it says every single year during the height of Carson's Tonight Show, Paul Anka would make $800,000 to $900,000
every time it's played.
Throughout
Cha-ching.
his whole reign on late night, it played over 1.4 million times.
Mm-hmm.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
And it is one of those things, you know immediately
What
when
it
you
is.
hear those
Yeah.
first couple of notes. Johnny Carson.
Paul Anka just got paid.
Cardinal Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen and Eddie Scholler from the world-famous Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Hey, buddy, have you came over and looked at the new Eddie at Fast Eddie's? I finally got a new item. You know, it's been decades.
Decade? More like 40 years to figure out how to put a piece of shrimp on there with your steak.
I've known you for 40 years. You could have said something. Well, who'd have thought the Elwood could even get better? But we did it. We went and we made the Eddie. It's a foot-long serving turf.
Not that I needed another reason to bring the whole gang down there. I'm still going to order those big Elwoods, the succulent peel and eat shrimp, the hot chick on a stick, and that famous Fast Eddie burger. And I'm always going to get one of those ice-cold frosty ones and listen to that live music on that patio every afternoon and evening.
Well, I just love adding another great item for everybody to come over and enjoy. When you come on over the beautiful Clark Bridge to look at the picturesque Mississippi River.
Picturesque. That's very eloquent.
Thank you very much.
Well, like Mr. Shannon says, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to picturesque Alton, Illinois, and see the very eloquent Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Hi, Matt Kearns, president of St. Lou Fringe. Our festival is St. Louis's stage for new works. Grab a festival pass and meet me August 11th through 17th at STL Fringe Fest 25 to see great dramas. Sex educator, writer, and performance artist David Wraith joins Fringe to deconstruct his racial, sexual, and gender identity through the lens of his complicated relationship with his late mother, and a powerful new show called Mommy Issues. It's a must-see. Grab passes and tickets for STL Fringe Fest today, and I'll see you at the Fringe, stlfringe.org.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at STLMedWeightLoss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Ever wonder what the KTRS Air personalities look like?
Well, now you can.
Now streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Sitting at home or at the office, you can now watch the Big 550 live. Just find the Big 550 KTRS on Facebook or 550 KTRS TV on YouTube. 2 ways you can see the hosts in all their on-air glory. We are live, local, and the talk of St. Louis. We are the Big 550 KTRS. Depend on it. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
It is 5:32 on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's go to Captain Paul. What are you seeing on the roads?
Heidi, I see an accident on westbound 64 at Ballast with just a short backup to Spady. Westbound 64 is heavy from Kings Highway past Hampton. Eastbound 64 bogs down from McKnight to Big Bend. Southbound 55 is running slow around South Broadway. And eastbound 64 is congested from east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. For a limited time, take advantage of Renewal by Anderson's largest new customer discount. 25% off your entire window or door project and great financing options. Call 314-350-6550 or online at rbastl.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Cooler outflow from decayed thunderstorms to the northwest are actually keeping our temperatures down a little bit. That's why it's been a little cooler. We still have a chance for a shower or thunderstorm into the evening, but now the better chance for a strong to severe storm is going to be south of St. Louis. And we get a little taste of the cooler air that really takes hold for Thursday. A low of 73, a high of just 80 under mostly cloudy skies. It is going to be still muggy, and there's about a 30% chance to catch a shower, but it's a much cooler day. And Friday, the humidity goes down, so 80 degrees, mostly sunny and low humidity. Just a great Friday, and that just about continues into the weekend. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
So I saw a new poll. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Both of you, of course, and on the Woods Basement Systems text line 84126. Many Americans would like to raise the driving age, lower the drinking age. Thoughts? They want the driving age to be 18. And then the drinking age, they say, should be a little bit older. They think 16 is just too young to drive.
Bob, I got a question for you. You have kids that turned 16 fairly recently.
Yeah.
Did they get their driver's licenses right away? Because isn't that the trend over the last 10 years, is that kids are just waiting?
It did not happen with my niece and nephew. They got it immediately.
But I think that is a trend. One of the kids, I think, waited a little bit, and because their schools did not have driver's ed, we hired a guy to teach them.
Oh, really?
Don't try and teach Finn. Get somebody else to do it. You'll both go crazy.
My dad would yell at me so bad.
You can't help it as a parent. You can't help it. I would say I don't mind keeping it at 16 if they put driver's ed back into the schools.
I think driver's ed is key.
Mandatory.
And Bob, I've said this before, but my dad was a driver's ed instructor. So learning to drive with him was a little bit different. And we started, when you're in the country, you start really early. You go up on the levee and you're driving at 14 and kind of seeing where you can go. I mean, I remember sitting on laps driving when we were, young, but you can do that a little bit more than you can in the city.
That's right.
Would your dad bring the car home that had the 2 steering wheels?
Oh, it wasn't a steering wheel, it was brakes.
Yeah, they had the extra set
There
of brakes.
wasn't another steering wheel on the side.
Okay.
It was just brakes on that side in case they needed to hit them.
Here was the big challenge at Pattonville High School, right over here. Well, we're in the Pattonville district here, I think. Pattonville Parkway North. It's real close here. Anyway, you guys, you might remember. Well, you both might remember. Remember the old St. Charles Rock Road Bridge across the Missouri River that was really narrow, barely 2 lanes, and you had to get across that. You basically almost did it with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holding your breath.
it's so tight. It was unbelievable.
Where was it? They got that bridge now.
Well, St. Charles Rock Road, it goes out, and it just stops now. It stops at 141 that goes there, but it used to go across, and there was the old bridge there, and it was a nightmare. And but those are the things that help make you be aware when you're out on the street.
Absolutely, to make sure you're paying attention to all of those things.
And if they don't do that, which would be better for everybody, then I wouldn't be opposed to raising it.
The thing that I kind of feel, I feel like a 16-year-old is actually paying more attention than probably some of us that...
Because they're more nervous.
More nervous, and they're just getting going.
Yeah.
Some of us are a little too confident behind the wheel, and you look down and you do other things, and it's, that's what,
Great point.
to me, is so dangerous about it.
Anecdotally, I was talking to somebody who procured cars for people, and they would ask them to get a big SUV for their teen driver because they, wanted something. If they hit something, I don't want them to even feel it or whatever. And he would always say, no.
That you can pile too many people
you
in
don't
one.
want something where they can cram 8 of their friends in there and have them all goofing off.
Point.
You got to have something smaller.
Agreed.
And economical for them so that they don't get distracted. When it comes to the drinking age, I do not think they need to lower that at all. Maybe even raise it a year.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where they're thinking. And then a lot of Americans support a maximum driving age as far as
Why'd you look at me?
that goes.
Yeah. Bob, you just
you pulled in here.
You're going to have to get a cab to work tomorrow.
Yeah. So interesting.
Now that summer's here, you'll be spending a lot of time in the backyard while you're outside grilling or taking a refreshing dip in that pool. Don't forget to take a look up at your trees for dead branches or large limbs hanging right over the house. Uh-oh. Better have a Ray's Tree Service arborist come by for a free no-obligation estimate. Ray's will keep your trees and your property looking great all summer. Call 314-821-2665 or visit RaysTreeService.com. That's RaysTreeService.com.
It's one of baseball's fiercest rivalries, the Cubs versus the Cardinals, and the action returns to Busch Stadium the weekend of August 8th through the 10th. Feel the heat, the history, and the excitement as these two legendary teams battle it out under the summer lights. 3 big games, 2 historic teams, 1 electric atmosphere you won't want to miss. Great seats remain. Secure yours today at Cardinals.com.
This is Wilson Contreras, San Luis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game, it's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
One of the great things about living in St. Louis are the great hospitals, and none better than Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. It is a special place, and if you don't believe me, talk to any parent who's had a child who was treated at Cardinal Glennon, and you will see the pride in their face. So for all of the doctors and nurses and staff at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, we thank you for all the work you do day in and day out. To find out more about SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, glennon.org. That's glennon.org.
Looking for a new kitchen or bathroom? Call me, Anne-Marie Bogus, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer of Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help you make your dream space a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. Our showroom phone number is 636-821-3395. And again, our website is annemariestudio.com. Let's turn your kitchen or bath into the dream reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like homestyle food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk a little entertainment news. Happy Gilmore 2 just set a new record for Netflix. It had the biggest U.S. opening weekend ever for a Netflix original movie. It got 46.7 million views over 3 days. If you're wondering how it's being received by fans, it currently has a 70% rating at RottenTomatoes.com, 61% with the critics. Its success also boosted numbers for the original Happy Gilmore, which made it to number 3 on Netflix Global Top 10 list with 11.4 million views.
I would love to talk to Julie Bowen about the Happy Gilmore movie.
You could have stopped at period, Julie Bowen, period.
And my question would be, why do you look younger now than you did in the movie? She's commented about the haircut she had.
Oh, yeah. That little bob cut or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Because she had so much success on Married with Children, you can afford things now. You can afford a trainer. You can afford a chef. You can afford to have maybe a little work done.
I tip my cap.
Yeah. Pete Davidson got a quote from Dave Chappelle tattooed on his chest when he was 19 or 20. Quickly realized it was a bad idea. He recently explained he did a stand-up set at a comedy club. Dave happened to be in the house that night, and he told Pete it was really good. Pete was so excited by the compliment, he asked Dave for some advice on writing new material, and Dave told him, quote, "Jokes come and go, but swag is forever." Pete went and had that tattooed on his chest and then realized pretty quickly he shouldn't have done it. He actually ended up covering it with a giant shark. He said, I could have just told people what he told me. Why did I do it? A shark doesn't sound much better to me, but hey.
Well, was the shark eventually removed as well?
He's working on all of them being removed now that he's going to be a dad.
Yep.
Megan Maroney, she's a country singer who's had a lot of success lately, got her start in the country music industry as an intern for Christian Bush, who is part of Sugarland, and he recently shared the story that apparently she didn't even tell him or anybody in the office that she could sing or write. And he kind of laughed, remembering how they probably had her buried in spreadsheets. Eventually, Megan asked if he and his brother, Brandon Bush, would produce one of her songs. And at first, Christian said, I'm not producing the intern's music. Once he heard it, changed everything, and Christian has produced every one of Megan Maroney's songs since. So that's kind of cool. Let's just jump to some birthdays, shall we?
Boy, I'm leaving some really good ones on the cutting room floor, so let's get right to it. Former St. Louis women's goalkeeper Hope Solo, who I got to visit with a number of times. I really enjoyed that team, and
I did
that
too.
Could have been a great team had they stayed with it.
Sure could have. I actually got to play with her in the hallways of Channel 5. We set up some goals, and
Wasn't she great?
Oh, she was so much fun, and
Really
she was
fun.
willing to just kind of play. And
Yep.
I would say she's 42.
No, she's 47.
In the middle, 44. Terrific actress. $1 Million Baby was
so
brilliant.
good.
Boys Don't Cry.
So good.
Hilary Swank.
What happened to her? I haven't seen her in
She had
ages.
twins pretty recently, and I think she's got a new movie coming out. I'd say she is 50.
I would say lower. I bet she's 45.
51, Heidi gets it.
Oh.
One of the great directors, The Dark Knight, Memento, Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan.
Christopher
He's
Nolan.
a fantastic director.
61? No, 57.
59.
55, no one gets that one.
Ooh, we overshot.
Heidi's going to get this one. Do you want to give in on this one? Delta Burke.
Oh, Delta Burke.
Suzanne Sugarbaker.
She was so good. I mean,
she was great.
Designing Women is still pretty darn funny.
It's a good show.
Man, I'm going to say she's 67.
70.
You get this one, though, 69. Two more quickies. Former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, the Governator.
74.
79.
Got that one, 78. And only because you
78.
mentioned this guy. The writer of the Johnny Carson theme, Paul Anka.
No way.
Today's his birthday? Stop it.
How old's Paul Anka?
88.
Ooh. I'll say 85.
Got it, 84.
Yes.
Good job, guys.
All right, that is your evening entertainment report here on the Big 550 KTRS. Hey, this is Heidi. Join us this Thursday when we're live from the Fairmont on Clayton. Fairmont on Clayton is a Montessori assisted living and memory care community dedicated to seniors with Alzheimer's disease. They identify activities that provide their residents a sense of purpose. The Montessori approach focuses on life skills the resident can do instead of what they can't, like setting and clearing tables and folding linens. Join us this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Fairmont on Clayton.
Are you or a family member needing to sell your home? Then call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties. I will buy your home in any condition and always as is. Call me at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. No contingencies, no inspections, just cold hard cash. I'll save you time and money. So make that call now and let me buy your house. RobankProperties.com. That's ROBANG Properties.com.
Are you old school or are you new school? Doesn't really matter, because if you need a hardware store, where do you go? Schnarr's Hardware, and their two locations, East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and of course their world headquarters on Clayton Road. You see, Schnarr's Hardware is one of those places where you walk in and you say, this thing broke off my toilet. Do you have one of these? Yeah, follow me. And they take you in the back and you pass 19 different aisles of things that you wish you could stop and look at. And do you need a 3-inch or a 4-inch? I think I need a 3-inch. Great. I'll buy two and I'll bring the other one back. That's why Schnarr's Hardware has been so successful. It's the customer service and the attention to detail. Whether you need fertilizer or whether you need something for the kitchen, maybe you need something for the big green egg. Two locations, one great hardware store, Schnarr's Hardware. And yes, the popcorn is always free, as well as the smell, because it smells like a hardware store. East Lockwood and Webster Groves, and on Clayton Road in Ladue, Schnarr's or schnarrs.com. We'll see you there.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, it is 10 minutes before 6 o'clock. Let's get one final check of traffic on this Wednesday with Captain Paul.
Heidi, there's an accident that's partially blocking the right lane at the entrance ramp from Olive to northbound 270. Elsewhere, westbound 64 is heavy from Kings Highway past Hampton. Eastbound 64 is running slow from McKnight to Big Bend, and eastbound 64 is congested from east of Illinois 157 to 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Aldon Indoor Air Quality Specialists. Repairs are cheaper than replacements. That's a myth. Stop pouring money into that old AC. We'll buy back your old AC system and give you $500 plus 0% financing for 24 months. Your family stays cool and your wallet does too. Visit al-don.com to learn more about Daikin Fit Systems. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Since it is Paul Anka's birthday, I got to point out, Bad Blood.
Who's the female?
Female?
No, he's doing a duet.
Elton John.
Oh, was that Elton John?
Pretty
I
sure.
thought- yeah, you're right. You're so right.
So I've always known Paul Anka as being, squeaky clean Paul Anka.
Yeah.
50s,
60s.
I thought this was like a Kenny Loggins song or something.
Right.
Oh, no, Bad Blood, that's Paul Anka. You guys always joke about my mind being blown.
I don't know that I've ever heard the song.
Oh, this is a great one.
Is it?
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a great song. I kind of remember it. Obviously, I didn't remember it really well with the duet with Elton.
So, yeah, Paul Anka is how old today?
84.
84.
84. Happy birthday, Paul Anka.
Have some fun with your friends while eating great food. Of course, I'm talking about the Village Bar, the only place to watch the big game while eating the world's best cheeseburger. There's a reason people have made this their favorite hangout for decades. The game's on, and so is the grill. We'll see you at the Village Bar.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
The biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner day.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
All right, before we wrap this show up with some randoms, Josh, couple people. It's Neil Sedaka, not Paul Anka.
All right, well, first of all...
There are a lot of vowels in there.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound the same, but I just want to give you a chance to...
It's true. I got it wrong. But when I pulled it up, it said Paul Anka, Bad Blood.
But did you Google Paul Anka, Bad Blood, and then it came up?
Apparently, I'm not the only one that made that mistake.
Okay.
But Neil Sedaka was pretty squeaky clean, too.
Okay.
When he comes out with this song with Elton John.
And somebody said Bad Blood is written by Neil Sedaka, sung by Elton John. It's not a duet.
That's totally a duet.
Yeah, they were
Okay,
both on it. I do remember that about
it's
the song.
so easy. Now your feelings are getting hurt.
Hang on a minute.
And you're starting to
He was
push
up
back.
he was up against the ropes and he's trying
Yeah,
to fight his way back.
and he's
Cornered cat.
Yeah, he's clawing his way out. All right, let's wrap this show up with some randoms. I'll try to save you.
This is so on brand. Evel Knievel was fired from a mining job after high school for attempting a motorcycle-type wheelie in a large earth mover.
Yeah.
In the process, he accidentally hit the main power line for Butte, Montana, causing a citywide power outage.
Oh, no.
Not good.
That's great.
English is the most common language used on websites by far. 49% of websites are in English. Second is Spanish at 6%.
Oh, muy bueno.
6. Whoa.
Yeah. And then some Volkswagen cars in 1959 had coffee makers in the dashboard.
No.
I've seen pictures of that
Really?
because
Have
I saw that somewhere else and I was going to bring it in for Darren and talk about it. But
Oh, he'll put it in his car, no doubt.
Darren will be with us tomorrow. We're actually out of the studio broadcasting live right there on Clayton at the Fairmount. So that's where we'll be. Hopefully you'll join us starting at 3 o'clock. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't need a salt to drop your flowers.
When was the last time you detoxed your body? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. Toxins accumulate in our bodies every day from pollution in the air we breathe and water we drink, as well as the food we eat, especially if that food includes fast food, processed food, and sugar. How do you know if you're suffering from a built